Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Hello, everybody. What is going on? What's up, small picture? Here we go. Ember Jones, Jesus, Virtual Backyard Politics. What's up, Brian? Austin Voigt. Yeah. Yep. I heard that too. I just heard Andrew Yang is suspending his campaign, which I liked having him in the campaign because he brought up UBI. I didn't like his version of it, but I'm glad he brought UBI and automation into the but let's get a Yang over to Bernie. So right now, 15% of the votes are in, 28% for Bernie, 23% Buttigieg, and 21% Klobuchar. Warren with 9, Biden 9, Tom Steyer 4. All right. Hello, everybody. Yang, I hope he moves over to Bernie. 126 people watching, 26. For those of you just joining us, Andrew Yang is announcing he is dropping out. He's suspending his 2020 campaign. So what I've been watching for the last half hour or so, I've been watching CBS's live, their streaming one, and a little bit of MSNBC. I'm going to go into that in a second. But what I'm seeing is they're pushing this Klobuchar surging, right? Buttigieg coming off that big Iowa win. So you're seeing now they're trying to push because Warren is kind of done. And now that Yang drops out, they're really going to push Klobuchar. We're going to see a Klobuchar-Buttigieg ticket is going to try to pop up at some point because that'll be everything that the deep state wants, and it will really excite boring centrists. So it's, yeah, Yang went all in on Iowa. So I hope Yang, look, Yang was never going to win the presidency. He was never going to get the nomination, but he, joined in, and hopefully if he starts endorsing Bernie, then that could really help Bernie across the board here. So, yeah. The thing that I was just watching this, of course, the corporate media browsed over this. They're like, not as many young people joined as much as they thought last time, because Bernie won New Hampshire overwhelmingly in 2016. Because in 2016, it was just him and Hillary, basically. So he's only got, so they're going to try to spin this as Bernie isn't as popular as he was 4 years ago, but they're keeping all these people in it. But one of the things that the corporate media just glossed over, there was a new voter registration in New Hampshire that made it kind of tougher for younger people to register to vote. So that's what they did. They cannot beat Bernie legally. Bernie's engaging, he engaged they saw how Bernie just rallied all these young people. So they've done all these little tactics. We're going to do this nonsense in the caucus in Iowa with this bullshit app, the Pete Buttigieg thing. We're going to do this. The phones are going to go down and all this. And so how do we keep people out? How do we, purge the voter rolls? Like I've been talking about it since last summer. Register as a Democrat, because if you have a state with open primaries, I guarantee they're going to purge the independent voters as best they can. So, Andrew Wang Chung tonight. Yeah, got that joke. You don't have to write it 10,000 times. So that always gets annoying. Just saying the same thing over and over and over gets annoying. So there you go. You're going to get the timeout and contemplate why you need to post the same thing 500 times. True singer. Hi, Graham. LOL, mom said you'd be a dog walker. That's funny. Yeah. Let's bring the Yang Gang out. So I want to show some stuff that's been just as the polls have just closed. So now 17% in, Bernie still has 28%, and Buttigieg still has 23%. But they're really pushing this Klobuchar. So you can see now the two candidates they're going to really push to try to beat Bernie. Warren couldn't; she's failed. So yeah. One of the polling questions is want to return to Obama's policies. 28 Klobuchar, 28%. Oh, remember Obama's policies that let the banks steal, 6 million homes and took us from 2 wars to 7 and contaminated the water in Flint that's still contaminated. Remember how great that was? Man, it was so great. 238 people watching, 93 likes. But here's the thing I want to talk about. First I want to bring up this. This is the, this is on the New York Times website. Let's bring this in over here. New Hampshire primary live results. Right now, Sanders has like a 60-some% of who will win. His expected margin is between 4.8%. So when Bernie probably might win tonight, who knows? There could be some great Iowa-style cheating happening. But if Bernie does win, they'll say it wasn't as big of a margin as last time. Has Bernie faded? And they will have all these pundits go, I don't know, Bernie people want younger, more exciting stuff. Like that's how they'll spin it if he wins, right? He won in Iowa, but they still said that he lost. So this is what it looks like right now. Yeah. He has 28%, still 28, 23, 15 for Klobuchar, Warren 13. Yeah. So this is where, here's only where the votes have been counted. Okay, so there's only literally been, looks like in the neighborhood of about 50,000 votes. Only 50,000 votes have been counted, and there's still another, this looks like maybe 200 and some thousand votes left to be counted, estimate according to the New York Times. Well, let's do that. But I want to bring up several things here. So hold on, Andrew Yang is giving a speech. Andrew Yang's.
Of an economy and society that works for us and our families to millions of our fellow Americans. We went from a mailing list that started with just my Gmail contact list to receiving donations from over 400,000 people around the country and millions more who've supported this campaign. One of the things I'm most proud of, we gave $1,000 a month to 13 families around the country, including Jody Bassey right here in New Hampshire. We highlighted the real problems in our communities as our economy is being transformed before our eyes by technology and automation. And Americans know now that when you go to a factory in Michigan, you do not find wall-to-wall immigrants doing work. You find wall-to-wall robot arms and machines doing the work that people used to do.
Oh, here we go.
We stood on the debate stage and shifted our...
Here's Andrew Yang right now. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Maybe you can or cannot. Usually you can't hear this when we do this, but I want to bring this in here. Let me know if you can hear this. You could hear it until you started moving the video. Okay. Now can you hear it?
And 72% among voters 18 to 34. Without a doubt, we accelerated the eradication of poverty in our society by years, even generations. And that is thanks to all of you who are here tonight. Though thousands of voters came out for our campaign tonight is not the outcome we fought so hard to achieve. It is bitterly disappointing for many of us, but it shouldn't be. Every single day I've been campaigning, I've had supporters say to me, "Your campaign helped me out of a depression. Thank you." Working on this campaign has made me a better person. I met my significant other because of you. Your campaign brought my family together. Your campaign got me excited about politics for the first time. These are all things that people have said to me in the past days, and they are the reasons why I am so incredibly proud of this campaign and what we've accomplished together. We have touched and improved millions of lives and moved this country we love so much in the right direction. And while there is great work left to be done, you know I am the math guy. And it is clear tonight from the numbers that we are not going to win this race. I am not someone who wants to accept donations and support in a race that we will not win. And so tonight I am announcing I am suspending my campaign for president. I love you, Andrew! I love you too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, New Hampshire. I love you too. This is not an easy decision or something I made lightly with the team. Endings are hard, and I've always had the intention to stay in this race until the very end. But I have been persuaded that the message of this campaign will not be strengthened by my staying in this race any longer. Endings are hard, New Hampshire, but this is not an ending. This is a beginning.
So it's not an ending, it's a beginning. Yes, Yang is dropping out. If you just tuned in, hit the like button.
This is just the starting line. This campaign has awakened something fundamental in this country and ourselves. This movement has outlasted over a dozen senators, governors, and members of Congress to become the most exciting force in this entire race. The Yang has fundamentally shifted the direction of this country and transformed our politics, and we are only continuing to grow. I'd like to thank my incredible staff and the hundreds of people who left their lives and their jobs to join and build this campaign. I know what a risk that was. Very few people joined this campaign because they thought it was going to be a good career move. So thank you. Thank you to my team.
Thanking everybody.
My goal when I first started running was to solve the problems that got Donald Trump elected. In order to do that, I will support whoever is the Democratic nominee.
He said he'll support whoever is the Democratic nominee.
That said, I hope this campaign can be a message and a word of caution and guidance to my Democratic colleagues that Donald Trump is not the cause of all of our problems. He is a symptom of a disease that has been building up in our communities for years. We must cure the disease that got him elected. And in order to do that, we must address the real problems that affect our people and offer solutions to actually solve them. I stand before you tonight and say that while we did not win this election, we are just getting started. This is the beginning This movement is the future of American politics. This movement is the future of the Democratic Party.
Andrew Yang announcing that he is suspending his campaign. Let's take you now over to Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Warren is now
who
speaking.
Also speaking at this hour. She's also in Manchester,
Here's
New
what
Hampshire.
she's speaking.
For our nomination up for grabs, and Americans in every part of the country are going to make their voices heard. That's right. The question for us Democrats is whether it will be a long, bitter rehash of the same old divides in our party, or whether we can find another way. Senator Sanders and Mayor Buttigieg are both great people, and either one of them would be a far better president than Donald Trump. I respect them both.
Can you hear what Warren is saying?
But the fight between factions in our party has taken a sharp turn in recent weeks, with ads mocking other candidates and with supporters of some candidates shouting curses at other Democratic candidates. These harsh tactics might work if you are willing to burn down the rest of the party in order to be the last man standing. They might work if you don't worry about leaving our party and our politics worse off than how you found it.
She's going to drop
And they
out.
might work if you think only you have all the answers and only you are the solution to all our problems. But if we're going to beat Donald Trump in November, we are going to need huge turnout within our party. And to get that turnout, we will need a nominee that the broadest coalition of our party feels like they can get behind.
She canceled flights to Nevada and South Carolina. She's dropping out.
We cannot afford to fall into factions. We can't afford to squander our collective power. We win when we come together. You know, the Reverend Jesse Jackson once said, "It takes two wings to fly." And I think he's right. Our campaign is best positioned to beat Donald Trump in November because we can unite our party.
She's going to endorse Buttigieg.
We can unite this party and this country by mobilizing people behind ideas that are not only popular with huge majorities of the American people, but that also accomplish structural change for our broken government and our rigged economy. We can unite people around the wealth tax on the very richest Americans so we can invest in education.
23% of the precincts, Ernie's in the lead.
We can unite people around ending corruption in Washington, ending the corruption that has meant stagnant wages, rising costs, and a tighter and tighter squeeze on the middle class. We can do that. Ending corruption that leaves more and more working families with less and less hope for a better future, and that has crushed people of color even harder. Ending the corruption that has shortchanged our kids, our schools, and the very survival of the planet they will inherit. Families in America today are running out of time. We have faced decades of shrinking opportunity, decades of rising inequality, decades of a widening racial wealth gap. Big business has captured and used government to serve its own interests at the expense of smaller businesses and the expense of the American people. I believe in markets, but markets without rules are theft. Markets without rules perpetuate
Hit the like button.
Discrimination. And for too long, the rules have been rigged against people who just want a level playing field. 2020 is our time to change who makes the rules.
She endorses Klobuchar. It's good for Bernie.
Now, it was never my plan to run for office of any kind. Well, good. But not my plan. And I have been in this fight, though. This fight for working families for decades. I fought credit card companies as they tried to trick and track consumers. I fought our own banking regulators to hold them accountable during the financial crash. I fought to build a new federal agency to protect consumers from predatory financial. And I got in this fight. I ran for office because I saw that families were being squeezed harder than ever, and too many politicians were not getting enough done. I'm here to get big things done.
She's here to get big things done, she just said.
Because here's the thing about politicians. Whether they're offering vague platitudes or powerful rhetoric, they will ultimately face the same test, actually getting anything done in a Washington that is badly broken. Americans from all political backgrounds don't need a bunch of flowery words to explain this. They know deep down in their bones exactly why government doesn't work for them. It's corruption, and we need to call it out for what it is. The corruption that gives lobbyists a louder voice than voters. The corruption that lets big companies pay nothing in taxes while small businesses pay full freight. The corruption that ensures that nothing ever changes on gun violence or climate policy or drug prices, even though nearly everyone in America wants change. And let's be specific here. On a day when career prosecutors showed more backbone than almost every Republican senator standing up to this president, Americans of all political stripes are gravely concerned about the corruption of the Trump Justice Department that abandons the rule of law to give sweetheart deals to criminals who commit their crimes on behalf of Donald Trump. And yes, Roger Stone, I'm looking at you.
She's talking tough to Roger Stone.
So tonight I have a message for our party and for this nation. Our best chance of beating Donald Trump
She's about to endorse
is with
somebody.
a candidate who can do the work. And I mean the hard, disciplined work. A candidate who can build a campaign to unite our party, and a candidate who can build a movement that is ready to take on corruption and win. We can take on corruption in Washington is if we're not beholden to it.
She's about to endorse Klobuchar.
Let's just check the facts. Amy and I are the only candidates in this race who are not either billionaires or supported by super PACs. And unlike other candidates, I don't fund my campaign by spending time behind closed doors sucking up to wealthy donors. Movement is powered by you. It is powered by people. And over the past year, I've had the chance to shake hands or hug way over 100,000 people in more than 220 town halls in 29 states and Puerto Rico. And you know, there are a lot of differences among us. We come from different backgrounds, different religions, languages, and experiences. We have different dreams and different aspirations. We feel the
Outdoors
urgency
Klobuchar.
of this moment
Get
in
ready.
different ways. But with all of those glorious differences, for the most part, we want the same things. We want an America where decisions in Washington aren't bought and paid for by lobbyists and big donors. We want an America where every person has a voice in our democracy. We want an America where fossil fuel companies don't have a vice grip on our planet. An America where we can breathe the air and drink the water. An America where every child can dream big and actually have a chance to make it. Because no matter the color of your skin, who you love, how you worship, or what zip code you live in, you deserve an America where you are safe and your opportunities are just as good as anyone else's. You are amazing. I can see that America. That America is within our reach. And if you can imagine that America, if you think it's worth fighting for, then join us. Go to ElizabethWarren.com.
She's asking for donors.
Now, pitch in a few bucks. Sign up to volunteer. Get involved with our campaign. This moment will not come our way again. So tonight.
What is she doing?
Tonight. Tonight, I'm here to say thank you.
She's thanking you.
Thank you to every volunteer. Thank you to every organizer, to every door knocker, to every phone banker, for every $5 donor. Thank you. Thank you for helping build a movement to take back our democracy and to rebuild it from the grassroots up. And while I'm thanking everyone, I want to take just a moment, where are you, to thank my sweetie Bruce.
What is she doing?
And I also want to thank the good boy who posed for one selfie after another, our Baylor.
Hitchcock twist indeed.
The fight we're in, the fight to save our democracy, is an uphill battle. But our campaign is built for the long haul.
Built for the long haul. We're just getting started.
And we are just getting started. I am grateful down to my toes for what our campaign has been able to accomplish so far. My plans for this country have been influenced by letters pressed into my palms by little girls. My will to fight has been strengthened by the people who have whispered their dreams in my ears. My determination to lead a movement has been forged by the tens of thousands of people who have said they are ready to fight for an America they know we can be. Because if we have the hope that comes with dreaming big, if we have the courage to fight hard, we are going to win. Thank you.
She flip-flopped in her speech. It sounded like she was going to quit. This is out of, like Cat B said, breaking. Biden and Warren will not meet the threshold to receive any delegates in the New Hampshire.
Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren addressing her supporters in Manchester,
What?
New Hampshire. Our CBS News Decision Desk has been crunching the numbers all night, has some new information. Let's get right to New York. Our Tanya Rivero is standing by with Anthony Salvato. Tanya?
Thanks so much, Elaine. Yeah, we have some pretty interesting news to report, Anthony. you want to talk about the fact that both Biden and Warren look like they're not on pace to get any delegates?
They are not on pace to get delegates, and that means that with them below that magic threshold that the Democrats set, which is 15%, both of them are below that right now, and our models are pointing such that they won't break 15%, so they're not on pace to get delegates. But let me show you something else, Diane. Let me describe for you what is happening between Sanders and Buttigieg as well. One of the things to watch here, we have now moved this race, our characterization of it, to lean Sanders. Lean Sanders means that he's got an edge. It is not certain by any stretch that he will win, but he is leading right now. And one of the reasons for that is that he has so far been doing pretty well in the key urban centers, in Manchester, in Concord. If I go in here and I zoom in, I'm going to get you a little bit closer now. Manchester and Concord, you see those places are in purple. That is our color that indicates a Sanders lead. So he's doing well there. He's doing well in Concord. That's helping him, but he's also done well in a lot of other little towns that have reported as well, rather consistently.
And those are urban centers that tend to lean more progressive. Is that right, Anthony?
He will find plenty of liberal voters there. But one thing I would notice, roughing off of that point, is that that number is just about where his pre-election polls were. He has a very solid level of support, but it has not yet grown. It's not above 30%. It's not to 35%. The other candidates are still dividing that vote behind him. I think one of the interesting things, whatever happens here tonight, is can Bernie Sanders then start to grow his support beyond what he has? And what he has is rock solid.
And what's so interesting, though, to me is how well Amy Klobuchar is doing.
Oh, God, they're pushing Klobuchar so hard.
7 out of 10 voters who voted for her say they decided very recently to vote for her.
Yes, and that is perhaps the most, if not the second most important point of the night. There are a few smaller towns where I can point to, Bedford for one of them, not that small, frankly, but those places where she has done well. But what really you start to see is in all of these smaller towns, she is close. Maybe not over Sanders, but she is close to Sanders. And the other thing I will tell you is we look for patterns. And in her vote, it correlates fairly well with Hillary Clinton's vote from 2016. So you start to get this picture of a non-Bernie Sanders part of this electorate, and she is picking up a lot of that.
So let me ask you something. Since obviously Sanders is doing well as expected, and Buttigieg is also doing well as expected, Biden and Warren were not doing as well as expected. Is Amy Klobuchar getting votes from their campaigns?
Yes, that seems to be the case. And that's from the exit polls, where what you see is folks who, like I said, aren't with Bernie Sanders. And there was late movement towards Klobuchar. Folks in the exit poll told
they're
us
saying late movement towards Klobuchar.
critical.
All right, late movement towards Klobuchar is what I'm hearing. So this is just so what these folks are saying. I can't listen to it anymore. And I saw this earlier today. They're like, Klobuchar surging. She surged after Iowa. So they're gonna. What we just saw Warren do is say, eventually I'm gonna endorse Klobuchar. Amy Klobuchar and I are the only ones who don't take billionaire money. That is a blatant lie. Bernie, they refuse to call her on that. It's just preposterous. I mean, I can't even, I'm going to read some super chats here in a sec, but I just can't even listen to this because it's just such a blatant lie. It's just nuts, man. It's just like, I can't. So I'm going to bring this over here for right now. Because it's just like pretty nuts. It's there's the current thing that they're still predicting Sanders, but now Buttigieg, like they're trying to make it a tighter race than it is. Yeah. Yeah, Senator Bennett is out. So I just want to show everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham L. There's 634 people watching, 432 likes. Please hit the like button. But I just want to show everybody this that was in Forbes. Okay, this was in November. These are all the candidates who get money. This is in Forbes, so not like some hippie publication, but this is Forbes. Okay, so I just want to show everybody what the numbers are here. Okay, so right there. So this is Kamala Harris. She had 46 billionaires donate to her campaign. Cory Booker had 45. Joe Biden 44. Pete Buttigieg 40. Michael Bennett, who just dropped out, 32. Hickenlooper, he's out. Klobuchar, 21 billionaires. Liz Warren, 6. So when Liz Warren says Amy Klobuchar are the only ones, she is flat out lying. It's another Warren lie. This is in Forbes in November. And the mainstream media won't go, wait a minute, Liz Warren is lying. She said it on the debate stage. She's lying. 6 and 21. Who else doesn't get money from billionaires? Bernie Sanders had 1, but there's a caveat to that 1. It was a billionaire's wife who gave him $470 and he returned it. And I guess Tulsi gets 1. I don't know who that 1 billionaire is, but it's probably something like that. Like Yang got 4. So she's not even telling the truth. She cannot, Liz Warren cannot tell the truth. No wonder she's such a Clinton supporter. The Clintons just lie every day. Show this out to everybody. This is on Forbes. This is unbelievable. They just can't, she can't help but lie. This is in Forbes in 2019. Liz Warren is a bold-faced liar. Amy and I are the only ones who don't. So she says that to go after Pete Buttigieg, which is a fair thing, but she needs to be honest. I've taken money from 6 billionaires. Amy Klobuchar, here she is in 1986 saying she's an American Indian in the State Bar of Texas registration card. Another lie. This helped her. I was a little incorrect. I said she was Native American to get into college. Her undergrad was at Rutgers. There was no ethnicity box to check, so she didn't check that. But this, she got hired to be on the faculty at Harvard, and Harvard listed her for years as woman of color, faculty, attorney, Harvard Law, Native American. They did that for years, and Harvard's never been held accountable, and the mainstream media won't hold her accountable. They won't hold her accountable for this lie, saying Amy Klobuchar and I are the only, that's a lie. It's a lie. Forbes is saying this is a lie, not me. I know I'm a sexist burn bro that's mansplaining, but this is Forbes. She's a bold-faced liar. That's what she does. She lies. There's this. Then there's this listing in this offensive cookbook called Bow Wow Chow, Elizabeth Warren Cherokee, right? And then in her speech, which sounded like she was going to drop out, she keeps talking about how she's going to resist Trump. Here's Trump's State of the Union from a year ago, saying America, right now, he's saying America will never be a socialist country. It will always be capitalist, and everybody starts clapping. Everybody starts clapping, and then they start chanting USA, USA, US. And then, look, there she is, standing right there. That's who Elizabeth Warren is, a liar, a capitalist to her bones. Those are her own words, standing with Donald Trump. It's just like this last State of the Union that we just had, right? And everyone was on the internet going, yeah, Pelosi ripped up his speech. But what they don't show is Pelosi standing and clapping with Trump when he points out they had Juan Guaido there, and they all stop and clap and stand and yay. The CIA puppet Juan Guaido, because Maduro, I'm not saying Maduro is some Gandhi hero, but he won't give up his oil. Chavez, when he got to power in the late 90s, said he wouldn't give up his oil. He nationalized the oil, started giving it to the people, used the oil profits to get social programs for Venezuelan people, and kicked out the American oil companies. And that's when Chavez became an evil terrorist, the axis of evil. And Maduro's been doing basically the same thing. He's just been keeping, and again, Maduro's done some stuff pretty iron-fisted or whatever. But if Maduro were to give up the oil to us, he could do whatever he wants. So like Saudi Arabia lets us have their oil, and then they buy our weapons, and they can chop up a journalist and scatter him in a garden. And the media wrings their hands and says it's bad, and then nothing really happens. They can bomb the poorest country in the world with weapons they bought from us, Yemen, and nothing happens. So I just want to show you this is what the Democratic Party does. Pelosi and all of them stood and clapped with Trump for Juan Guaido. She's a bold-faced liar. So that's why you get your news here, folks. That's why you watch the show, because you're political vigilantes. That's why the mainstream media won't show you these stories. In the middle of the New Hampshire primary, you would think they would. Shave your knuckles for justice. So what's up, Super Chatters? 618 people watching, 520 likes. Please hit the like button. I will answer some Super Chat questions, everybody. So let's keep that big board up right there. Where is this one? Yeah. More lying. Never-ending lies. The never-ending lies. The never-ending lies of Liz Warren. It's non-stop. %35% of the vote in right now. Yang and Tulsi have 3%. Yeah, Bernie's at 28, Buttigieg is 23. New York's primary leaning towards Senator Sanders. If Buttigieg had a 5-point lead, they'd be like, Buttigieg running away with it. Yeah, CBS is talking about the rise of Klobuchar and college-educated voters. Oh, God, they're so in the tank. Brian Ardor, shave your knuckles save your knuckles for Brian, Justice. Yank supporters, come on over to Bernie. Yeah, let's do that. If you're talking to Yank supporters in person or online, right now, Bernie has 27.6% of the vote, Buttigieg 23.6%, Klobuchar 20%, Warren 9.7%, Biden 8%. They keep showing any statistic, any poll, and they can show Klobuchar in the lead with college grads. Oh, it's Klobuchar. They're trying to, she's the new Serger now. It's Buttigieg, the new Serger, and I'm going to show you some videos of how people have treated him. But Louise Brooke, shave your knuckles for justice. I didn't agree with Yang, but appreciated his voice. F. Klobuchar and CIA boy. Yeah, that's the thing I said about Yang. I disagree with him a lot, but I was glad he was on the stage. I mean, part of a debate is who can help pull the message. And look, because what Bernie did in 4 years ago and what this campaign means this year and all of his popularity, it's why everybody's talking about Medicare for All. 4 years ago, that was just immediately written off as pie in the sky and ponies by Hillary and everybody else. But now things have been pulled to the left. The party's been pulled to the left, and the party has to talk about UBI. So I'm glad Yang was in the race. I'm glad he was on the debate stage. I wish Tulsi was on the debate stage still. I wish Mike Gravel, made it to the debate stage, but they wouldn't let it. The anti-war candidates, they got to get them out of there quick. Oh, here's Tulsi speaking.
You heard this? Do you feel this?
Can you hear?
Well, I am that candidate who will not only be able to beat Trump, but most importantly, I am that candidate committed to putting country first, to putting service above self, to lead our country in a way that allows us to heal these divides and to come together as Americans, putting our destiny in our hands and fighting for the future we know is possible.
Swear to lay in New Hampshire. I love it.
I just want to take a second and introduce you to Olivia. I've gotten to know her. I've gotten to know Olivia over the last several weeks. Her mom, Brandy, has been one of our incredible volunteer leaders. She not only brought Olivia, she has one of her other daughters here tonight, but Olivia brought her friends from school to go and stand at the polling place in Hollis.
Hit the like
to
button.
Encourage everyone to vote for Tulsi. And Olivia, can you tell everyone here tonight how you feel? How was your day today?
I had a fun time, and I was really happy that Tulsi could come over to Hollis. She actually came over and shook hands with people, and it really made a difference.
You guys made a difference. And what did you tell me the other day that you want to do? What do you want to study, and what do you want to do when you're a little older?
I want to be a teacher.
And why is that?
Well, I want to be a kindergarten teacher to help kindergartners have an awesome first year.
Thank you, Olivia. Thank you. So we think about why we're doing what we're doing, right? There are so many reasons why. And Olivia, you are one of those many reasons why. So that as you grow up, you'll be able to pay it forward and help take care of others and make sure that, as you said, kids have an awesome first year, right? This election we have so much at stake. So yes, this is about beating Donald Trump. It's about we, the people, standing up and ushering in a bright future for Olivia,
Tulsi's
for
gonna
her
drop.
three
I can't tell.
sisters, and for all Americans.
She said she's in it till the convention. That's what she said to Jimmy. So I don't know if she's going to drop out.
Hi, Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard there speaking in Manchester. We will be right back. You are streaming a special edition of Red and Blue.
Okay, CBS is going to a
from
commercial.
Manchester.
I don't think Tulsi's dropping out. So I don't know if she's going to. I don't know. Eventual winner, now they're saying coin flip. So this is pushing the maybe Sandra. Whoa, Pete's going to surge. That's the thing they're going to try to do. So one of the things I found out at the top of this broadcast was they did some new type of voter registration that kind of limited young people from, I don't have the details on that, but I heard a CBS person say that. So that's probably one of the ways that they're like, oh, here we are. Here's a good way to cheat Bernie. But let's go to some of the super chats. Let's go for some of the super chats here. Boom. Alex Hills. Alex, thank you so much for supporting the show. Please help promo candles for Assange, listening protests, vigils in 35 cities worldwide. We need free press. Yeah, Candles for Assange, People for Assange. These are great organizations. To get involved. Julian Assange trial starts February 24th. So if you're in London, please go there. There's a bunch. I've met dozens of Assange activist groups out there. Go help them out. Go get involved. Go to WikiLeaks. I have a cool WikiLeaks shirt that I got for donating to WikiLeaks, and the money helps Julian's legal fund. So check that out. Louise Brooks. Louise, thank you so much for supporting the show. If Klobuchar and Booty fail, it will be Bloomberg all the way. The oligarchs won't let up. Yeah, I'm going to talk about Bloomberg here in a second, because we're going to go into how MSNBC is pushing for him and who Bloomberg really is. So Spark AA, shave your knuckles for justice. Trump voters are unneeded for his primary. Get them to vote Tulsi in her primary. Send Trump an anti-Pompeo intervention message. They'll understand. Yeah. I mean, in states where Republicans can vote in the Democratic primary, get them to show up and vote for Bernie or Tulsi. You know, because Trump said he wants to go against Bloomberg, or he said the candidate he's most afraid of is Bloomberg, which is bullshit. He's saying that so people get behind Bloomberg. The candidate he's most afraid of is Bernie Sanders. That's why. That's who he's most afraid of. So it's I don't think Tulsi is dropping out because she just put this out there. I'm getting back on the Vantage speaking voters all the way. And the polls closed. We don't know the results yet. Before I want to take a record. Just got off the phone. We passed our $1.5 million goal. We're ready to hit the ground tomorrow in Charleston, South Carolina. But I want to take and reflect on how far we come. So she's not dropping out. This is just a thank you, New Hampshire. We're on to the next one speech. I doubt she's dropping out at all. Yeah. Help me win South Carolina. That's what Tulsi's doing. So I don't know how long she's going to stay in. Like I said, she claims to be like, I'm in it till the convention. So yeah. So George Allen, shave your knuckles for justice. Good to see you tonight. Go Bernie. Thank you, George. Thanks for supporting the show. Hit the like button, everybody. Mberg 33, boom. Shave your knuckles for justice. From 5 anti-establishments to 2, Bernie should help. Yeah, let's hope so. Max D, shave your knuckles for justice, Max. And I thought New Hampshire was boring. That's what I get for being a lying dog-faced pony soldier. So the polls have been closed for an hour. 40% votes in. Bernie's in the lead, 27.6%. To Buttigieg, 23.5%. Klobuchar's dropped, 19.8%. Yep. There. Yang announced he's suspending. Bennett and Yang have dropped out. So there's 40% of the votes in, and Bernie is in the lead. This New York Times one seems like nonsense to me, but yeah, now they're just saying coin flip because the New York Times is ridiculous. So Sanders right now, yeah. So they'll split up the delegates. So there's 24 total delegates. Bernie will get 9. Pete could get 8. Amy could get 6. That's what they want to do. Push it to a second ballot. Push it to a second ballot. So, oh man. Well, let's go to this, folks. Let's talk about. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. So ooh, it's primary night in New Hampshire, everybody. But let's talk about how the bias, and it's really bad from MSNBC. The whole corporate media is constantly saying, oh, Klobuchar, and they're going after, but MSNBC has so flagrantly gone after Bernie, that this, look what happened here. So MSNBC is going to undecided voters, and this is what happens when they interview this woman. Whoops. Wait a minute. What did I do wrong? Sorry. Let me go back here. Here it is. This is an MSNBC reporter asking an independent voter, and here in New Hampshire, and here's why they said they ended up voting for Bernie Sanders. Yeah, so what that woman said was the reason she voted for Bernie was because MSNBC kept smearing him. She goes, I watch MSNBC all the time. So MSNBC's plan is backfiring with a loyal, any blue will do MSNBC viewer. It's turned off them. She goes, that's why I'm voting for Bernie Sanders. They have to stop him at all costs. It's unbelievable. 42% of the vote in. Bernie has 28% right now. It's just look at what they do. So one of the things that they're doing is they are pushing really hard for. But let's look at this before we tell you this. They're going to try to move Bloomberg up in the ranks. Now it's Klobuchar, right? Any centrist they can do. But why is MSNBC? They're such a liberal, right? They're the liberal. Oh my God, the liberal media. Comcast, which owns NBC Universal, 2019 contribution to the Republican National Committee, $45,000. Here it is again, $45,000. Here it is again, $15,000. This is $105,000 donated in March and April by Comcast to the RNC. That's who MSNBC is. Oh, these liberal hippies and Rachel Maddow, she fights for us. No, this is her company. So when Chris Matthews goes on and loses his mind because Bernie and the socialists are going to come shoot him in the street, and he starts equating Stalin era Soviet Union totalitarian communism with Bernie's democratic socialism, which in Western Europe, Bernie is a centrist. It's because of this. This tells you they would rather lose to Trump, who's a Republican, than let Bernie take over the party. That's why they're all saying, oh, Klobuchar's surging. And Buttigieg, after that miraculous, crazy win that was propped up by the CIA in Iowa and a scam, which is it's unbelievable. I mean, it is and it isn't. It is very believable because this is what the Democratic Party does. Because there's not one party. There's not two parties. There's one party. That's why at the last State of the Union speech, when Trump acknowledges Juan Guaido, everybody stands, including Pelosi. Later, she rips up Trump's speech. That's just the professional wrestling theatrics. But they're one party. All the professional wrestlers work for the WWE. That's who they work for. They all get the same paycheck. They all get the same ad money. One person's the bad guy, one's the hero who gets beaten and then comes back. Oh, that's all. This is all ridiculous theater. Because when it comes to U.S. imperialism and overthrowing Venezuela, which has the #1 oil reserves in the world, and they won't give them to American oil companies, then we need to put in a CIA puppet, Juan Guaido. But this is the other one. Oh, Bloomberg's on the rise. Let's show you who Mike Bloomberg is. This is him on the radio. This is the guy that did stop and frisk, remember? Here's what he had to say. Michael Bloomberg is talking about stop and frisk. He just said with stop and frisk, we disproportionately stop whites too much and minorities too little. That's Bloomberg. But you might be like, so when they're trying to push Bloomberg, Klobuchar, anyone they can, right? But let's because they can't, the mainstream media, you would think, especially MSNBC, would be like screaming about all these women of color endorsing Bernie, these prominent, powerful, strong political women, AOC, Omar, Amy Vilela, Nina Turner, right? Presley, Tlaib. Oh, man. I'm sorry, Jayapal, not Presley, Jayapal, Tlaib, right? We would think like, man, Dr. Victoria Dooley, who we've had on the show, they would be touting that. No. But who is Bloomberg? Here's him golfing with Donald Trump, Giuliani, and Bill Clinton. Been on Epstein's plane once, been on Epstein's plane 26 times. William Barr and Acosta helped Epstein get off the hook 10 years ago. That's one of the reasons why he picked them. Virginia Roberts and numerous others trafficked out of Mar-a-Lago. Him and Hillary have been to Epstein's compound. Graham, what does this have to do with Epstein? It has everything to do with Epstein. I'm showing you who the ruling class is. How did Epstein kill himself in a New York federal prison? Oh, here's the two most powerful mayors of New York. Gee, I wonder if they have any favors they could call in. You know, where he hung himself with a paper T-shirt. The video footage, it's just been disappeared. We can't find it. The only two people charged are the two prison guards. Let's want to know, this is Mike Bloomberg. Oh, he's going to resist Trump. No, he's not. He's going to work with him. They'll all work together. It's all part of the professional wrestling. It's all part of the professional wrestling. If Trump is like, oh man, he's just going after Bill. Bill's the bad guy. No, he's deflecting blame of his involvement with Prince Andrew, who's also a pedophile. Virginia Roberts said that. And Epstein, who he hung out with, right? Has made money with. They're all the same. The Trump supporters that think, oh no, he's just, and the Clinton supporters think, oh, only Trump is bad. No, they're all the same. And he's part of it. Bloomberg is part of it. This is the big hero that some Democrats are trying to get behind. There's this TV ad that he's playing showing it's showing Obama praising him. Right? Ghislaine Maxwell, who the FBI has only probed. I did a video on that. I have a whole Epstein playlist. But I just want to show you who this is the ruling class. This is what's happening here. Ghislaine Maxwell, who settled out of court with Virginia Roberts, who said in a sworn deposition that Maxwell raped and trafficked her along with Epstein, was at Chelsea Clinton's wedding 2 years after she settled out of court. This is who. Get ready for a Hillary Bloomberg ticket. Get ready for that, everybody. That's what's going on. They're afraid of this because this unifies the country. This blows apart their identity politics. And actually, this gets a lot of working class people. This is who's really calling the shots. You think the Republicans and Democrats are fighting each other? One of these parties is so different. No, it's not. 49.7% of the votes are in. Bernie has 27.7%. Pete Buttigieg, 23.4%. New Hampshire primary. That's why you're getting your news here, folks. The political vigilante. Shave your knuckles for justice. So what do we got going on, folks? Let's talk to some super chat, folks. Let's see what we got cooking here. 531 watching, 711 likes. Outstanding. I want Joe Boomer has put us. That's funny. Workers of the world unite. Absolutely. Even the president is a puppet. Absolutely. Yeah. What a joke ticket. You are a comedian, Graham. Absolutely. Oh, man. Let's read some more super chats, everybody. T. Ada, thank you so much for supporting the show. Shave your knuckles for justice. Cool Blue 71, shave your knuckles for justice. CNN exit polls, gender votes suggest Bernie wins New Hampshire primary with about 26%. Pete and Amy each have about 21, 22%. Biden 10, Warren 9. Each of Tulsi, Tom, and Yang about 3%. Yeah, that's what it kind of keeps, it's been hovering about that for the last hour and 10 minutes or so that I've been live. The polls have been closed for about an hour and 17 minutes now. That's what it seems to kind of keep holding it as they go into different areas. So, but it's like what that woman said in MSNBC. I showed you that video, and I know some of you couldn't hear it, but that video, this woman on MSNBC, they said, why did you vote for Bernie Sanders? She goes, because I'm a loyal MSNBC watcher, and you guys keep smearing him. Like, you keep saying, oh, 4 years ago, he got over 50% of the vote, but that's lower now. And she's like, because there's more candidates. And she's an any blue will do person. She's like, there's a bunch of great candidates who I think we could all rally behind to defeat Trump. But I voted for Bernie because you guys keep smearing him. She can see it. She can see that this is like last year was just Hillary or Bernie, and Bernie crushed in New Hampshire and a bunch of other states. But this year, Bernie's not doing as well because last year, again, it was Hillary, Bernie, and a bunch of stiffs in the summer of 2015. And then when the primary started, they all started dropping out, and it was just Bernie and Hillary. was Bernie, Hillary, and a couple of stiffs, and then one less stiff, and then one more less stiff, and then Bernie and Hillary. So Westchester runs. Shave your knuckles for justice. You're making Gotham great again. Tulsi just said she raised 1.5 million and headed to South Carolina. Yeah, I think we all got that email. So, you know, I don't know if anyone else is going out dropping out. Yang, I'll give him credit. You know, that's like I said, I was glad he was on the debate stage. I'm glad he was talking about UBI. Even if you don't agree, I don't think UBI on its own is the solution. His version of it is one I don't agree with. I've said I think UBI is part of with a federal jobs guarantee inside of a Green New Deal. So like Bernie's Green New Deal, everybody gets a job. There's a federal jobs guarantee, but you want to transition or you want to be a stay-at-home parent or whatever, then you get UBI, you know? Or let's say you want to work in your chosen field. Like, I don't know, like, let's see, well, you want to be whatever, not necessarily part of the Green New Deal or whatever. You just want to do what you want. You want to be a design try to get you there, or UBI while you go to, you know, and college is free. Like, there's all these things possible. How are we going to pay for it? Oh boy. First of all, companies like Amazon that made $11.2 billion in profit and paid $0 in taxes and got tax breaks. You take away the tax breaks, which is a subsidy, and you make them actually pay taxes. So there's all of that money. You stop giving subsidies to the oil lobby. Like, there's at least a good 50 of the Fortune 500 companies that paid $0 in taxes. There's like, you get rid of that $1.5 trillion tax break to the billionaires. You get rid of oil subsidies. You federalize marijuana. You decriminalize marijuana on a federal level, tax it. There's a couple $1 trillion, I would imagine. But I wanted to go back to Andrew Yang real quick and say, I think it was very honorable for him to say, look, we're only polling at 3%. We can't win this. So we're going to, it'd be disingenuous. I don't feel right taking people's money. Like, he seems like he's a pretty honorable dude. I don't know. He took some super PAC money, which is a little disappointing. But he seems like a guy that's like, well, this ain't right. I'm a math guy. I'm not staying in for this and taking people's money. It's not right to take people's money if you know you can't win. That's not right. Warren doesn't care because she's a liar. I showed you how she's a liar. I showed you how she's a liar in a million ways, you know? So George Allen, shave your knuckles for justice. This Warren speech is odd, Graham. It says nothing, doesn't move me. It's weird. All of her speeches are usually so great. Well, the good guy's winning, kind of. Bernie's in the lead. People run for president on a platform. Executives don't legislate. The Supreme Court would block executive orders. I wish people demonstrated a little more foresight. Yeah. I always suspected Warren was in the race primarily to stop Bernie, and I'm sure of that now, ever after her speech tonight. Yeah, Cappy, you're right. I mean, that's clearly what she's trying to do. So at the debate, and then at this weird speech tonight, she said, Amy and I are the only ones that don't take money from the billionaires, which I just showed you is a bold-faced lie. Warren has taken money from 6 billionaires, Klobuchar from 21. 27 billionaires between the two of them. I don't know what she's talking about, and I don't know why Bernie just sits there and lets it happen. I don't understand it. It's crazy. Joe Biden is in South Carolina already doing a campaign rally in South Carolina because he knew he could win New Hampshire. Frank Friel, Frank, thank you so much. Shave your knuckles for justice. She's staying in to siphon off any votes she can from Bernie. She's made a deal with someone. Don't forget she is a backstabbing scout. Yeah, I of course I wasn't like watching that speech thinking most of those people would probably go for Bernie. Some would be Klobuchar, some might be Pete, but even if half of her votes in New Hampshire went for Bernie, that would give Bernie put him at 33%. He'd have an 8-point lead or something like that, or a 10-point lead, which would be pretty sizable. So she's siphoning it off. That's why they got to keep him in there. If Biden and Warren dropped out, Bernie would take enough of those, each one of those people. So I hope Yang endorses Bernie. I hope just Yang comes out and says this. Yang, in his speech and at the last debate, made great points. And he said it numerous times. Trump is not the problem. There's a bigger problem here that we need to address. He's like one of the only ones talking about it. So I hope Yang throws his votes in with Tulsi or with Bernie. I wish they would all just drop out and back Bernie. That's what we really would need, man. George Allen, you're making Gotham great again, George. MSNBC today was propping up Klobuchar. The establishment must be scrambling. Oh, yeah. That's all I heard today was Klobuchar surging. They're doing that game just like they did. Wow, Pete came out of nowhere. That's the game. When I did that video about Veronica Persimmon's, 5 steps on how to cheat, one of them is manufacture a surge. This guy came out of nowhere. That's why Pete had that fake, creepy speech the night of the Iowa caucus when no decision, there was no numbers in. He just went, Iowa, you have shocked the world with CIA talking points. Like, it's nuts, man. Whew. Ruth Benedict, what's up, Ruth? I hope you're doing well, sweetie. We'll see you this summer. Oh, Joe Biden speaking. Hold on. We got to listen to this weirdness.
I've been coming here a long time. When I die, I want to be reborn in Charleston, actually. I like the low country, you know what I mean?
He's going to say something creepy.
Look, I hope, thank you. Please sit down if you have a seat. Thank you. I'm Jill Biden's husband. I work for Cedric Richmond. And David Mack is taking me to school.
They don't know what he's talking about.
I know some of the other senators came over. They came up to see me. They're in session right now. And I thank them for making the effort. There's so many people here for me to say thank you. So I just spoke to our folks up in New Hampshire, and they did a good job. But I want to tell you, the people of Nevada are watching, and I want to make it clear we praise their diversity as a state, and I'm going to be out there seeing them very soon. Tonight,
Talking about Nevada
we
and
get
South
served
Carolina.
the first 2 dates, 2 of them. Not a nation, not half the nation, not a quarter of the nation, not 10%, 2. Now where I come from, that's the opening bell, not the closing bell. And the fight to end Donald Trump's presidency is just beginning.
Okay, Trump's bad. That's news. I didn't know. Thank you.
It is important that Iowa and Nevada have spoken, but look, we need to hear it from Nevada and South Carolina and Super Tuesday states and beyond. And look, we're moving in an especially important phase because up till now, we haven't heard from the most committed constituents in the Democratic Party, the African American community. And the fastest growing segment of society, the Latino community. I want y'all to think of a number. 99.9% That's the percentage of African American voters who have not yet had a chance to vote in America. One more number, 99.8. That's the percent of Latino voters who haven't had a chance to vote. So when you hear all these pundits and experts, cable TV talkers talk about the race, tell them it ain't over, man. We're just getting started. Our votes count too. We're not going to let anyone take this election away from you. Look, I've said many times,
Corn pop.
you can't be the Democratic nominee. You can't win a general election as Democrat unless you have overwhelming support from black and brown voters. It's just very simple. No, it's a natural fact. It's true. It's absolutely true. And folks, you know, all those Democrats who won against incumbents, from Jimmy Carter to a guy named Clinton, to a guy named Obama, my good friend, guess what? They had overwhelming African American support. Without it, nobody's ever won. No, really. And you all know you own my heart. Look, more important, should you not win the Democratic nomination for president, you should be able to win it without black and brown voters. Too often, your loyalty, your support, your commitment to this party have been taken for granted. I have never once in my career since I got involved as a kid taken it for granted. And I give you my word as a Biden, I never, ever, ever will. Now, if you want to know what any other candidates are going to do in the future, the tendency is to look at the past. Well, I left the law firm when I was a kid with a great job in a fancy law firm and to become a public defender, to fight for the people in the community I used to work in the East Side, because they couldn't afford a lawyer. On the county council, I fought against redlining. In the U.S. Senate, I passed the extension of the Voting Rights Act for 2 decades. The Violence Against Women Act. And by the way, I had the back of a great president named Barack Obama for 8 years.
Of course, he's mentioned Obama.
And by the way, we increased access to capital for African American entrepreneurs. Let's get something straight. Given a chance, they do just as well as anybody else, and quite frankly, better, and they build the neighborhoods. They build all communities. Rock and I were able to reduce the federal population. And speaking of HBCUs, I got $70 billion coming to HBCUs. Not a joke. Minority universities. Look, we saved the automobile industry. We passed Obamacare. We stopped insurance companies from discriminating against people with pre-existing conditions. And on top of all of that, we built an economy that Trump is bragging about. This guy squandered his father's fortune. Now he's squandering the economy we gave him. You all think I'm kidding? I'm not. So, Mr. President, instead of talking about impeaching Barack Obama, you should be saying, thank you, President Obama. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But folks, look, we have so much more to do. I promise you, as your president, you will be partners at shaping the policy to make sure every single American has an opportunity. The thing that I've never liked, and I was chairman of the Judiciary Committee for
Can't
years.
listen to this nonsense. I'm sorry. I can't listen to Joe Biden go on a corn pop rant. I don't know. I can't listen to Biden corn popping it up. I just can't. I can't listen to corn pop talking. I can't do it. I can't listen to it. I just can't listen to it. I can't listen to it. I can't listen to it. So here we are. Yeah, now the New York Times saying Bernie has 26, Pete Buttigieg 24, but they just said on CBS 50% of the vote in. Bernie has 27%, and Wine Cave Pete has 24. Yeah, that's who it is. So, oh boy. All right, let's read some super chats because this is just, oh boy. Ruth Benedict, what's up? I can't believe I just watched Lazy Liv give what I thought would be a dropout speech, which she was actually only fundraising. She's despicable. I know. We're all like, oh, she's dropping out. We got to unite. We got to stay together. We can't fight within each other. That's why I go to my website and give more money. And me and Amy are the only ones who don't get money from billionaires. It was crazy. She's just like, was she going to drop out and then she flip-flopped? It's unbelievable. She's crazy, man. Anthony Maldonado, what's up, Anthony? Will Yang and Tulsi endorse Bernie, given if they both drop out? I know Tulsi will. I hope Yang does. I hope they just both drop out and get behind Bernie. And I think he should, yeah. He should do something, man. Because they're going to keep trying to steal it, and you can't win this traditionally. You've got to crush everybody. You've got to just go overwhelming. It's got to be overwhelming. 51% in. I hope so, Anthony. Matt Clark, boom. I just texted a neighbor saying how shocked I was about Biden being done already. His response, Russian GOP interference. What the fuck? Oh. Russia and GOP interference. That is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Cool Cat M. Hello, sir. Who are you using for reliable New Hampshire results? Well, I've got the New York Times here, and then I got the CBS News. If you go to cbsnews.com, that's what I'm looking at right now. So they have 51% of the vote counted. Sanders has 27% of the vote. Buttigieg 24%. Yeah. So Tulsi's talking about.
You haven't been on the debate stage in recent. Do you think that has hurt your campaign?
It's possible, but what we've been doing is continuing to focus our message directly on reaching out to voters all across New Hampshire, and continuing to carry this message now to voters in South Carolina, the other Super Tuesday states, this message of the leadership I'll bring as president and commander-in-chief to end these wasteful regime change wars that have not made us any safer. Work to end this new Cold War nuclear arms race and instead redirect our taxpayer dollars towards serving the needs of the American people right here at home.
That was a message you brought here to New Hampshire.
Yes.
That you invested considerable resources. Do you think that message has resonated enough with voters here?
Look, given again the fact that we've been terribly outspent and had not anywhere near enough media exposure that many of the other candidates have gotten, I'm really proud of the impact that we've had here, not only in New Hampshire, but how voters across party lines, Democrats, Republicans, but also trust that I will bring the leadership in this country to heal the divides, to unite the American people, centered around our common love for our country and this care we have for our future, to stand together, to work and solve problems, and knowing that when we do that, we can accomplish anything.
You mentioned foreign policy. When you look at the exit polls here in New Hampshire, the Democratic primary voters said that on their list of priorities, foreign policy was behind other issues, as healthcare, climate change among them. What then is your sense of an actual viable path if so much of your portfolio is about your time serving and also foreign policy and sort of being commander-in-chief and ready to go on day one? What do you see as the viable path?
The more, this is what we've experienced here in New Hampshire, is the more we've been able to get our message out there, and the fresh new generation of leadership that I bring, combined with experience as a soldier, serving now for almost 17 years and serving in Congress for 7 years, really focused on national security and foreign policy. Voters recognize that so long as we continue to spend $4 billion a month propping up a corrupt government in Afghanistan, they will continue to hear from their politicians that there's not enough money for healthcare, there's not enough money for education, there's not enough money to deal with the opioid crisis that's ravaging so many people's lives. Not enough money is a refrain they've heard over and over again about these issues that directly impact their loved ones. And this is why foreign policy is domestic policy, and why the leadership and experience I'll bring as commander-in-chief will enable me to make that sea change in where our taxpayer dollars are going, stop wasting it on wars that don't make us any safer, and instead focus on serving the needs of our people.
Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. Congresswoman, thank you so much for your time.
Great to see you.
Nice to see you. For more, let's go ahead and bring in CBS News 2020 campaign reporter Kara Cordy. She is with the Sanders campaign here in Manchester. So Kara, tell us what things are looking like where you are.
Who's from the Sanders campaign?
Well, Lane, we think back to what happened 8 days ago in Iowa, and the mood could not be more different. We were, this time, 8 days ago, kind of tentative, waiting for results. Xander supporters were wondering what the heck was going on. Here you can kind of taste, they're watching results come in, you can taste in the air that they are waiting for a reward, right? They really believe that he is going to pull out a victory here. People I speak to in the campaign are optimistic. They tell everyone that they think it's going to be tight, but they believe that Senator Sanders can win here. Supporters are chanting, they're really into it. They're chanting things like Medicare for all. They're chanting about Medicare for all and winning here in New Hampshire. I spotted in the corner some American flags stacked up that I suspect will be handed out to the crowd once Senator Sanders comes out, and it's just a very.
She's at a Bernie Sanders rally, and they cut to Amy Klobuchar.
Sanders appears to be on his way to yet another New Hampshire Democratic primary.
This is what they're doing.
As we look at this picture that Senator Amy Klobuchar.
They cut away
the mic to address her supporters. Let's go ahead and listen in now as Senator Klobuchar
cut away.
The crowd.
Now we're going to listen to Amy Klobuchar? Oh, Lord. She's surging. God, she's boring.
Thank you, New Hampshire. We love you, New Hampshire. Hello, America. I'm Amy Klobuchar, and I will beat Donald Trump.
How? How? You inspire nobody. I will not vote for you. I will not vote for her.
My heart is full tonight. My heart is full tonight. While there are still ballots left to count, we have beaten the odds every step of the way.
Fake surge. Here we go. Here comes a fake surge.
We have done it on the merits. We have done it with ideas, and we have done it with hard work. Because we are resilient and strong as the people of this great nation.
Picture that debating Trump on national
Thank
TV.
you to our incredible staff and our unstoppable volunteers. My wonderful husband, John, our daughter, Abigail, and the people of New Hampshire. Because of you, we are taking this campaign to Nevada. We are going to South Carolina. And we are taking this message of unity to the country. We know in our hearts that in a democracy, it is not about the loudest voice or the biggest bank account. It is about the best idea and about the person who can turn those ideas into action. We know that we cannot win big by trying to out-divide the divider-in-chief. We know that we win by bringing people with us instead of shutting them out. Donald Trump's worst nightmare is that the people in the middle, the people who have had enough of the name calling and the mudslinging, have someone to vote for in November.
21 billionaires from Forbes.
Vote Amy Trump, vote Amy Trump, vote Amy Trump, vote Amy Trump, vote Amy Trump. I cannot wait to bring our green bus around the country. I cannot wait to win the nomination. I cannot wait to build a movement and win the movement of fired up Democrats, independents, and
Platitudes.
Republicans.
I won't have free health care, and your kids won't get to go to college for free, but she's got a green
We
bus.
see it as an economic check on this president. We see it as a patriotism check, and we see it as a decency check. Because in the end, we know that what unites us is so much bigger than what divides us. And we know that we believe, so many of us believe, that the heart of America is bigger than the heart of this guy in the White House. Tonight is great. And my story, like so many of yours, is one of resilience. I announced my candidacy in the middle of a Minnesota blizzard. And there were a lot of people that predicted I wouldn't even get through that speech. But not the people of my state and not the people of New Hampshire. Except then they predicted that we wouldn't make it through the summer. We did. Then they predicted we wouldn't make it to the debates. And man, were we at the debate in New Hampshire. What we've done is steady, we've been strong, and we've never quit. I think that sounds pretty good for a president.
What are your policies?
Across the months and months and miles of this race, we redefined the word grit. You see it with our happy, scrappy campaign.
53% in, 27%, 24%,
You saw it in
20%.
our 10-county, 30-hour tour in the middle of a nor'easter.
Get out.
Let's not forget that. You saw it in our early morning diner stops, on our late night rallies, and yes, you saw it on that debate stage.
She's talking about her debate. She's like, no policy.
Just like so many of you out there, I know a little bit about resilience. My grandpa worked 1,500 feet underground.
Your grandpa worked 1,500 feet underground. I can't listen to another, my grandpa worked in a coffee can story. I can't listen to it. I cannot listen to my grandfather worked in a, my grandfather worked in a butcher shop. His head was the shape of a meat cleaver, and he had to chop the meat himself with his head because he couldn't afford a meat cleaver, but he didn't quit because he's got grit. That's what Grandpa Cecil Elwood did. He chopped meat with his forehead, his cleaver-sized forehead. That's why you should vote for me, because I can make up ridiculous nonsense in a boring patter. Boom. Oh, I'm Joe Biden. I've been doing that for years. I'm Amy Klobuchar. Oh, it's great. I'm Psycho Pete Buttigieg, who will eat children to get ahead. Oh, God, I can't listen to this. Just listen. What is she saying now?
And taught second grade until she was 70 years old.
Oh, now her grandmother taught
And
until she was
I still
70.
meet people that say she was their favorite teacher. So I stand before you
My
today
grandmother was a teacher
as a
too.
granddaughter
Taught
of an iron
biology in
miner,
high school.
As a daughter of a teacher and a newspaper man, as the first woman elected to the U.S. Senate from the state of Minnesota, and a candidate for president of the United States.
My grandfather was a butcher. My other grandfather was a lawyer. My grandmother was a teacher. My other grandmother was a housewife. Yeah, grandparents, they had jobs.
We live in a country of shared dreams. That no matter where you come from, no matter who you know, no matter the color of your skin, no matter where you worship, no matter who you love, that you can make it in the United States of America. I didn't have a perfect life. My dad struggled with alcoholism his whole life.
Dad was an
And by the
alcoholic.
time John
So was
and I got
mine.
married, he got his third DWI. And then the judge said to him, you got to decide jail or treatment. And he chose treatment. And in his words, he was pursued by grace. I believe that everyone in this country should have.
We've all got, that's just life, Amy. You've lived a life as any American has. Wow. Yeah, went to school, we had fights, trouble, thing. What are you going to tell us about a high school breakup? He broke my heart, Tommy Stevenson, in the 13th grade or whatever. Oh boy, it's just like, I can't even listen to this nonsense. I can't listen to this. Yeah, I know. We all could sit here. If I asked all of you to post your stories of your parents, you'd all have some kind of story about this. We all have it. Yeah. Unless you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth like Trump, you know, you got a story. Or you can just make one up like Liz Warren. Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Gosh, she's still talking? She's still talking. All of our parents. I had uncles that fought World War II. I'm sure you did too. Like, we all had that. That's just being an American. Let's have a Native American run and hear what their story is. Like, come on. Oh, God. If you're an American descendant of slavery, then your story was your grandparents were, or great-grandparents, or whatever, were slaves. That's your story. Like, Sam Dean, yeah. Sam Dean said his mom was super. She's still going? Okay.
We have been on quite a journey together, and you've learned this about me. I never give up. But my story is nothing compared to the resilience that I've seen all over this country. The mom in California who lost her child to gun violence. And even through her grief and heartbreak, she has joined the fight to keep our children safe.
What are your policies?
Jobs and still struggles to put food on the table, but is determined.
Enough. 58% of the vote. Yeah, Bernie's still in the lead. All right, I'm going to answer some super chats because I just can't even listen to this like my grandmother worked inside of a shoelace or whatever. So all she's talking about is resilience. God, her and Buttigieg just take on the challenges of our time. Like, how are you going to do it? Justice and democracy. Oh, she's going to do justice and democracy. Well, that's great. I'm glad she's going to do justice because I didn't know if anyone else was. We can't take another 4 years of Donald Trump. That's your platform. We're not going to do 4 years. Has Biden finally dropped out? Sadly, no. He's in South Carolina campaigning because he knew he wasn't going to win in New Hampshire. Sky's not the limit. Shaving knuckles for justice. I prefer UBI to jobs guarantee. It's more even. I say put them together in a part of the green. Here's a federal jobs guarantee, and if that job ends, you go to UBI, or you have a kid, you get some UBI. Jack Sith, boom. We had no audio, brother. Bernie tells you about. Yeah, I know. It's a clip I'm going to pull out and post tomorrow. Sparky, boom. Careful, Graham. You're breaking kayfabe. Ha. Now she's talking about Barack Obama. Anthony Chisholm. Joe pandering Biden trying for an Oscar. Yeah, who knows what he's saying now. It's corn pop and whatever. South Carolina swimming pool he's talking about. Miss Hendricks, how you doing? Thanks for watching the show. Uncle Joe riding Obama's coattail. Oh, that's all he's got. But President Obama and I, yeah, he has to mention at every turn. Eric Rich, boom. What's up, Eric? Shave your knuckles for justice. Someone asked why Obama hasn't endorsed him now. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Yeah, Obama's just playing it safe like a good centrist. He's definitely not for Bernie. We know that. We know Obama's going to actively block Bernie. Miss Hendricks, shave your knuckles with justice. Give it up, Joe, and take Lizzie with you. Ah, that'd be good, Miss Hendricks. Eric Rich, boom. Amy Klobuchar has more supporters than Tulsi. BS, yes. I know. She has billionaires. She has 21 billionaires. That's who Amy Klobuchar has. That's how she's surging, is because billionaires are helping her surge. It's unbelievable. Sparky, Amy and Pete's supporters bust into New Hampshire. Ah, Sparky, shave him for justice. Sparky, again, shave them. They talk about relatives. What about themselves? Yeah, absolutely. they all try to sound this folksy thing, and it's so just like basically kind of insulting. 832 likes, 486 people watching, 59% of the vote in. Hopefully they'll name a winner here soon. Let's talk to some more people. She just said she didn't know FDR, but he knew me. She just said that about FDR. She knew FDR. Will corrupt Biden ever return the money Hunter acquired from fascists in Ukraine? No, I don't think so. How did Tulsi not kill in libertarian land? I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? Instead of $15 an hour minimum, big companies pay higher than small companies. I'm down with that. You know, big companies should be doing so much more. Big companies should be union. Should pay union wages. That's what it should be. She's just going to fight for you. Pete reminds me of the coach of the Celtics. Haha, Tyler Swift. Buttigieg magically wins with 1%, 10% of voters behind again. Absolutely. Oh, I'm a DILF? Thanks. I don't have any kids, so I'm not a dad, but thank you. Yep. Yeah, they don't pay union wages because they can hire illegals. That's absolutely true. Hello from Dublin, Ireland. What's up, Bernadette? I was listening to Klobuchar this year while we were, and she literally has said no policy at all. She said, I'm going to get your back. I'm going to do this thing. 60% of the vote, and Bernie Sanders has 27% of it. They're saying she's in third. She's surging. They keep saying late surge with Amy Klobuchar. %65% of the vote is in. They're saying judges knowing the gap with senators.
And as you can see, there's quite a bit of gray. All through the center part of the state, you see purple for Sanders, you see blue for Buttigieg, but all that gray is still not reported. And the thing I'm keeping my eye on right now, if we that area down here has a lot of towns with a great deal of population, and it's just south of Manchester. There's a lot of suburbs down there that might even be considered Boston suburbs as well. Still waiting for a lot of those towns to come in. You get 65% of the vote, but not quite enough yet to make a firm projection.
Can you zoom into some of those townships and tell us what percentage is reporting right now?
Yeah, we can. We can look here, and I've noted Manchester a few times, but I would like to see what happens along here. They're not all large towns, okay, but we're going there. Brookline, Mason, all these little places. Again, not a lot of vote necessarily, but it could add up where if Buttigieg does very, very, very well, he can make this a little bit tighter.
Now, these are basically Boston suburbs, right? They're affluent, they're educated. So what does that tell you?
Well, Buttigieg has done well among college graduates and also among folks who are a little bit more affluent. Sanders has done well with working class, with blue collar workers, with folks who are in a lot of these cities that I've talked about, Manchester, in Concord, in Rochester as well. That's the place where he has, to a large degree, run up some of that lead, but also, again, very consistently being, and you see all this purple here, this is where we start to see that Sanders pattern of all places where he has led, and then along the seacoast as well. All Sanders, even better than his overall state average around this area. Actually, our decision desk models at around 28%. So even beating his statewide average in some of those places.
Looks like the northern part of the state is almost all in at this point, right?
Right. The difference there, though, is up here you just don't have as much population. If I zoom in there, I'll show you some of these are pretty small. So if I were to touch, let's say, Bethlehem, Sanders is up there, but I switch that over and it's 291 votes. It's sparsely populated. You can run up some margin there, but you can't do it just there.
So they're already.
You've got to do it down in
And the dark areas mean nobody essentially lives there.
The dark, yes, but the gray hasn't reported yet. So that's the big reason why we're still waiting to see what happens here. But overall, it's still that Sanders lead.
All right, and
So if you just hear what they just said, what they basically were just saying, they're trying to prep us for these more populated areas in Manchester, kind of might lean towards Pete. So they're going to try to say that Buttigieg is going to slide in there and win is what they're trying to kind of prep us for, that those could potentially happen, because Klobuchar Buttigieg surge, that's the message that we're getting right now, which is it's who knows if it's cheating or if it's just, propagandized people who think that we're going to vote against their own interests. I mean, everyone says the right votes against their own interests, what they do, but so does the left. I mean, the left they're going to vote for a corporatist, somebody that's taken either 40 billionaires have given to Buttigieg's campaign, or 21 have given to, neither one of them will help anyone's lives. And then what will happen if they were to go against Trump, they would probably lose. If they did win, then the Republicans would put up someone even more evil than Trump. You go, more evil than Trump? Is that possible? Yeah, we all said Bush was the worst president ever. Now he's buddies with CIA asset Ellen, and he's cuddly to Michelle Obama. That's how dumb neoliberals are. So I don't know. We'll see. Yang is a Bernie cabinet member? Yeah, potentially. Yeah. Anyone making under $100,000 is an idiot if they don't vote for Bernie. I totally agree. I totally agree. But never forget, this is what it's all about. Propaganda multiplier, White House, CIA, Pentagon, feeds it to these three, who feed it to everybody down here, who feeds it to these people. So these people think, oh, I guess Klobuchar is surging and Pete is doing well. So when shows like mine find out Mayor Pete, worked for Navy Intelligence and worked for he's buddies with Zuckerberg, who's been helping manufacture consent, then we know. But that doesn't make it here. All the corruption. Liz Warren lying, the masses get it from here. And this is also good at keeping these masses divided. Oh, I'm a Fox News viewer. I'm MSNBC. They're better. That's what this is. So everybody goes along with it. And then these dummies will wonder why everything's so crappy. That's what will happen. 21 billionaires, 6 billionaires. This should be the top story when Liz Warren just lied an hour ago in her speech and lied at the debate on Friday. But that doesn't happen. We don't get the truth. You got to get it here. You're in New Hampshire? Yeah, Tulsi is gaining on Steyer. Yeah, people are voting Buttigieg for his foreign policy program. I didn't know he had one. Yeah, it's just, yeah, the DNC cheats forever. Yeah, Liz is 1% Democrat. Look up the latest Trump tweets. Look at the latest tweets. Trump is losing it. That's funny. Let me bring that. I'm just going to leave the billionaire count there on the big screen. Not as high as expected, which is like, Bernie didn't deliver like he thought he would. That's what that means. Let's see what Trump is saying. Trump says a lot of Democrats drop out tonight. Very low political IQ.
Senator Bernie Sanders' event there. Tell me what the mood is like at this moment.
Oh, they're quite happy here, Elaine, because they can see the numbers climbing in their favor, and all indications are that they are likely to continue holding on to this lead through the night. The Sanders campaign quite pleased with the results, as big, of course, as they were 4 years ago, but in many ways a continuation of what ended in 2016. He's had more than 150 paid staffers in the state, 16 field offices, and hundreds of thousands of volunteers from across the country here in New Hampshire over the last several weeks. On Saturday alone, they knocked on 150,000 doors here in the state of New Hampshire. It's about an average of 4 doors every second on Saturday. It was the biggest day they had in canvassing here over the course of the campaign. One senior campaign aide we spoke with tonight here believes that Sanders may have actually blunted Pete Buttigieg's rise last Friday when he went to that famous Politics and Egg breakfast and called out the former mayor for accepting donations from 40 billionaires and their spouses, making that argument, the people versus the powerful. Sanders does all the time, suggesting that Buttigieg doesn't necessarily have his priorities in life. Buttigieg struggled to explain that one away over the weekend, raising doubts about Sanders' healthcare plan, but not able to surpass the senator tonight. It's here in the building at Southern New Hampshire University in Manchester, and it's this city, Manchester, where Sanders appears to have done the best by running up the margins in the cities, in the state's largest city. About that volunteering, an example of how many volunteers appear, how many people were taking interest in him over the weekend. Once other senior aide told me tonight they had to run the printers over again on Saturday to print more literature, leave on the doorknobs across the Manchester area because they were getting such good reception from voters. We expect that we'll hear from the senator perhaps in the next hour or 90 minutes. But if tradition is any guide, given that we've heard from Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar, we're likely to hear next from Mayor Buttigieg, who of course is over where Caitlin Huey-Burns is tonight.
All right, on that note, let's go over to Caitlin Huey-Burns. Tell us what the situation is there at the Pete Buttigieg event.
Hello, we're in Nashua, New Hampshire, about half hour down the road from where you are at the bonfire. the Pete Buttigieg campaign is looking at tonight and pretty excited about where they stand, considering that they have been talking about on the ground here being a campaign that was really an underdog campaign from the very beginning. We've been following Pete Buttigieg on the ground in New Hampshire, and he talks a lot in his stump speech about having 4 people on his team when he first started, and now being able to grow a substantial operation, an operation that has really earned the target from former Vice President Joe Biden, who was the frontrunner in this race for a long time. Over the course of the past few days here in New Hampshire, after those results, however chaotic they were coming out of Iowa, the Buttigieg campaign has really tried to seize momentum, and you saw him weather attacks from former Vice President Joe Biden, going after Pete Buttigieg, calling him not Obama, questioning his record as mayor and his ability to win. Well, the Buttigieg campaign here on the ground has been pointing to his standing in the Iowa caucuses, being a leader in the delegate count, even by a
They're talking about how he won the Iowa caucuses,
but
Mayor
surpassing
Pete.
the president. And I think you can also say that Buttigieg's campaign has probably picked up support from those who may have been inclined to Elizabeth Warren over the summer. When we were following her campaign here over the summer months and into the fall, she was certainly surging, but we have seen her since come down and poised not to get any delegates here tonight. Another campaign that the Buttigieg campaign is probably watching is that of Amy Klobuchar, who is just a couple of points behind right now. She has been someone who's been campaigning in the moderate lane, campaigning as someone who can win back areas in the Midwest. So we may see after New Hampshire the two of them start to come into closer scrutiny. But the Buttigieg campaign would certainly take a second place finish here, as long as it is very close to Bernie Sanders' appearance here as a victory.
All right, people, Huey Burns and Ed O'Keefe, thank you both very much. Continue to check back in with you throughout the night. But I want to
It's crazy. Buttigieg is just claiming victory like a sociopath. And his campaign is like, I mean, I know that any campaign has their spin people, but Bernie won the caucuses. He got 6,000 more votes. How is this? They're talking about, oh, it's still an unsettled field, because it's deliberately unsettled. They want to push it to a second ballot at the convention, and then the superdelegates will come in and pick, you know? That's when Bernie is going to have to tell his supporters to become yellow vests and nonviolent resistance in the streets. That's what it's going to have to be. 65% in, 26.3% of the vote. He's got almost, he's got like a 4,900. There's a lot of trolls tonight, yeah. They'll stop at nothing to kneecap Sanders. Don't ever forget that. That's absolutely correct. Even the Japanese news is still reporting Pete as the winner of Iowa. Yeah, Iowa didn't kill himself. Yeah, it's weird that app, the Shadow app, just decided to hang itself. It was weird. The guards fell asleep and the cameras died. We don't know what happened. Kyle Klinsky said he'll be in the streets with a megaphone if they cheat Bernie. Yeah, so will I. Yeah, Sanders is still in the lead. What is it? The debate was important. Oh, boy. Very liberal voters, 51%, when a poll said they would, and an exit poll said they voted for Sanders. Yeah. Somewhat liberal voters, still 26% for Sanders, 25% for Buttigieg, Klobuchar. People make over $100,000 voted for Buttigieg over Bernie. You know? Let's some more super chats here, folks. Hey, we just crossed 60,000 subscribers. Right on. Thanks for doing that, everybody. We just crossed 60,000 subscribers. This is a big moment. I've had over 5 million views. How with them throttling us, that's with them holding me back and throttling my views and unsubscribing people. We crossed 60,000 subscribers. Let's get to 100,000 this year. That's my goal for 2020 is to get to 100,000 subscribers. So spread the word as best you can. It's really it's cool, you know, and I get to do this and meet all of you on the road. The show in Tucson, by the way, was so fun, and the Jimmy Dore show in Tempe was so fun. I met some of you there. The Tucson show was great because that's where I went to college, and it was fantastic. You know, it was this little like 70-some seat room, and we sold it out, and it was great. I mean, a friend of mine from college was there, and I met some of you that come on the super chat, and Ron and I just crushed. We had a blast. I mean, we had a blast. It was just like, we'll be back there. It was really cool. So, yeah. Congrats. I want to see that silver YouTube plaque in the background at 100,000. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Where that camel picture is that I got in right there. We put the 100,000 subscriber thing right there. So every time I go help do. So let's get over 100,000 this year. Let's do it. Let's push it. Let's push it hard, man. Oh, let's go to the big board.
We're here on the East Coast. What is it that you're seeing?
I want to give you a quick update and tell you specifically why I have not called this race yet. So with Sanders still leading and the overall race having narrowed only slightly, so Sanders still leads, what we do here at the desk is we look at what would Pete Buttigieg need to get in each area of the state in order to catch up. And while difficult, it's not unreasonable. So if I were to take this area down here in the southern part of the state, I can tell you that down here in the southwestern corner, right now, Pete Buttigieg is getting about 28%. He would need to get 31% to help him close the gap. Up here along the seacoast, which is mostly in, but you can see if you zoom in, there's still some gray areas. Some places in here
We're trying to
where they
push for
haven't
Pete.
reported yet. Pete Buttigieg has been getting 24% there. He would need to get 27% to start to make up that difference. So not unreasonable, hard given the patterns that we've seen, but certainly within the realm of possibility, still with more than a quarter of the vote, really more than a quarter of the towns yet to report a lane.
All right, Anthony Salvato.
Yang, Tulsi, and Steyer need
Elections
to.
and
Yang dropped
Service.
out.
Thank you
Tulsi and
so much,
Steyer need to
Anthony.
drop out.
So
and
we're
back
just getting a bit of
Bernie.
news in, and I want to let our viewers know. I'm going to pull up this email to make sure I get this correct. So I'm being told that it is now reportable. Victoria, I'm going to ask you. Former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick is expected to suspend his campaign
Deval
Wednesday.
Patrick
This is
suspending
according to
campaign.
a source familiar with the announcement, confirming this to CBS News. The announcement will likely be made in an email to supporters. Talk to us about the trajectory of the Patrick campaign. You know, he had been someone that entered very late.
Yeah.
And at the same time,
They're announcing Devel Patrick just dropped out. Fine. I barely know the guy. Never saw him on a debate stage. Like, whatever. Drop them all out. Just get out. Like, be done. Be done with this. But we passed 5 million views. We got 5.1 million views, and we got 60,000 subscribers, and that's all because of you for supporting this show. So let's answer some super chats, folks. Sam Dane, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. I have no song for this, not one. No, I know. It's just like what? It's nuts. Sam Bean again. Can Marlon Shatner send in the clowns? Oh God. It's crazy. They're going to try to say, oh, see, look, Pete's climbing. Pete's climbing. That's what they're going to try to do, man. So I'm not saying that who knows if they cheat or didn't cheat, but they definitely very good at getting people to vote against their own interests. So, IR nobody, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Polls were fake to manufacture consent for cheating. Bernie, Gabbard, and Yang. Yep. Fantastic life. Boom. Hey, Dominic. Amy doesn't need policy ideas. She has a green bus and her grandparents had jobs. Well, that's enough for me to vote. I don't understand policy. I'm not going to take the time to policy. I'm not going to look at the research of who gets money from what companies and corporations and billionaires. I'm just going to go, boy, she speaks nice. Boy, Mayor Pete, he's got some good ideas. What? What are his good ideas? Look at this. Non-white voters, 29% Sanders, 20% Biden, 15% Buttigieg, Klobuchar, Warren. The two white lady centrists get nothing from voters of color. Yeah. What African-American voters are saying is you don't have to look like me to represent me. That's what this gentleman is saying. Sparky, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Delegates go to HRC and brokered convention. Yeah, just wait. Something crazy is going to happen. And I got to tell you, if they screw Bernie and he endorses a centrist corporate Democrat, I won't back him. I will not. I will not. And I might, that will be like, I'll be done with Bernie at that point. If that happens, I will do it. I will not do it. And I will probably lose a lot of friends and family, but that's fine. I don't care. I'm just not going to do it. Oh, that's the guy that let the bank steal my house. What's that asshole talking about? How's your $14 million home, asshole? Is it good? Is he talking about I'm going to bomb poor people in the Middle East when I become president? Is that what he's talking about? Anthony Penza, how do you think independent media networks like RT and Sputnik will be punished if Trump wins in 2020? Oh, man. It's, they're just like, I can't watch these shitheads here. These are so stupid. These dum-dums. Yeah. So let's just never forget, this is how many billionaires. Pete gets 40, Klobuchar 21, Warren 6. America, if you want to be stupid. Hey, New Hampshire, if you want to be dumb, then be dumb. You get the government you deserve. Got an opioid epidemic in New Hampshire? Vote for the billionaires that can't do a lot of ice fishing in New Hampshire right now because it's 40 degrees in New Hampshire in February. No, vote for the people that take oil lobby money. You want Medicare for all, but you're like, how are we going to pay for it? Because you're too dumb to read? Then go for it. Just be dumb. Just be a dumb American. Just keep being dumb, America. Wake up in the morning and go, man, I'm going to be stupid today. and go, great, I'm going to help. How can I help the ruling class today? How can I help the billionaires that buy all these people out? That's what you're doing when you vote against your own interests. That's what you're doing. But good luck. No, the lesser of two evils. Keep doing that. That's work. That's why we're in this great situation. Yeah, it'll be because of you, America, have been drinking this Kool-Aid, and you go, God, it's gross, but I'll just change flavors. All right. It's fantastic. The naughty vegan has Lying Pete declared himself winner New Hampshire yet. Yeah, any moment now he's going to come out and go, New Hampshire, you shock the world. I can't wait to murder people. Brendan Dennis. Thank you for supporting the show, Brendan. Love your work, mate. Hang in there and keep speaking the truth to power. Congrats to 60,000 subscribers. Thanks, Brendan, man. I really appreciate that. Those of you who have been with the show from day one, those of you who have been with me a little while, those of you who just joined, I appreciate it. I appreciate any and all support. Liking the video, subscribing, pushing it out there on your own social media, all that helps. And I've grown my numbers on Rockfin too, which is my backup plan. So go to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Like we've got over 5,000 followers on Rockfin. So how about it? Michael Ellis, boom, $5 to Graham. Watching you talk about idiots voting against their own interests, priceless. That's what America does. Gets up in the morning and drinks the propaganda fed to them by the ruling class. Every morning, America gets up and drinks this Kool-Aid down here, doesn't ask questions. And when you point out that this is crazy, you're called the idiot. I'm the crazy conspiracy theorist. I'm a Russian bot. I'm a Kremlin puppet, right? If I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton, I hated women. I was a misogynist. They call me a misogynist. Hillary Clinton. So let me explain this to you. If anybody's like, I doubt you're watching this show if you are, but if you're like a feminist and think Hillary is a feminist hero, your feminist hero was on Epstein's plane twice. Her husband was on his plane 26 times and lies and said he was only on 4, which is 4 times too many. Even his lie is offensive. Her and her pedophile, filthy creep liar husband were at Epstein's compound in New Mexico. And then your feminist hero, Hillary Clinton, invited Ghislaine Maxwell, who was settled out of court with Virginia Roberts for being a pedophile sex trafficker, was at Chelsea Clinton's wedding 2 years after she settled out of court. So if you think Hillary Clinton is your feminist hero, that's like a foodie really looking up to Jeffrey Dahmer. So keep drinking the Kool-Aid, America. It's being served up fresh right from up top, the war machine. It's fantastic. Good to see. Way to go. Good business. Amaxa. Shaping up for justice. Bernie needs to drop out and endorse Tulsi. Good joke. Thank you. So what somebody from the Warren camp is saying, they don't need to win these delegates. They're going to win the delegate battle in the long haul. They didn't care about these first 2 states.
The way that she rolled out Medicare for All, whereas Bernie Sanders was ready to say, I will raise middle-class taxes to do this, it is necessary, she played around with it for a while and would deflect questions about it until eventually she came up with a plan that offered a potential way to pay for it without raising middle-class taxes. But by that point, the damage was kind of already done, and she'd been portrayed as sort of a dishonest candidate who wouldn't answer the questions, whereas he came out of that as sort of the one willing to fight for the extreme policies. The two of them have been hesitant to contrast one another or attack one another at all to this point. However, today I asked Senator Warren if someone was going into the polls and wanted to know what's the major difference between the two of them, what would it be? She said it is clear, and went on to talk about a recent trade deal that she had voted for, he had voted against, and how she is for anything that pushes us in the right direction, whereas he is more of sort of my way or the highway. That wasn't the phrase she used, but that was essentially what she was saying.
Smearing Bernie. This idiot smearing Bernie. Who dat?
Last night, she is not in the
Can't
quote
trust them.
prediction business, but how does she plan to rebound her campaign after tonight?
She has, like I said, all these staffers all across the country, but that's a little bit more complicated because she has a grassroots funded campaign. She's sworn off large fundraisers, sworn off super PACs. So paying all those salaries and continuing to try to build momentum late in the game is going to be more and more difficult if all of those grassroots supporters she has don't see some potential for victory. And right now, after these first two finishes, it doesn't look great. She's going to have to find a way to convince them, keep giving and keep being a part of this bigger picture delegate strategy that we're going for going into the convention this summer.
Zach, she's always been diplomatic, but who do you think she sees as her biggest competitor? Who is she competing with the votes for right now?
I think at this stage, there's only one person to look at for that, and it's Bernie Sanders. The big distinction that she's making without coming out and saying it is that she wants to divide the country, and implicit in that is that Bernie Sanders would further divide it. She's been recently referencing the divided party in 2016, which was, in part, the result of Bernie Sanders' presence in that race. So at this point, I think what Elizabeth Warren's trying to say is, look, I'm progressive, but I can bring Democrats together. I might even be able to bring some independents and Republicans in. That's what she's saying for policies like the wealth tax. Whereas Bernie Sanders, if you nominate him, it's another 4 years of Trump.
There is some evidence, however, that she lost votes to Amy Klobuchar because Sanders really, his support has stayed even. It didn't really swell to reflect all the support that Warren lost tonight. So has she mentioned anything about competition between herself and Klobuchar?
She offered the greatest heartfelt congratulations to Amy Klobuchar tonight for, as she said, proving the pundits wrong about what a woman can do. That was a pitch that she came up with about a month ago. How, in fact, she said a woman is the best chance at beating Donald Trump. So for the most part, she stays clear of major contrasts with Amy Klobuchar. But at the end of the day, policy-wise, it's clear that they're on ideological opposite spectrums. Part of why it was so interesting when the New York Times endorsed both of them as sort of the most moderate and the most progressive, other than Bernie Sanders, candidates running for president. Who do you pick between the two of them?
All right, exactly that. Thank you so much for that. Once again, we are keeping an eye on the Buttigieg and Sanders events that are going to start.
Yeah, he said Klobuchar and Biden voters like unicorns. I've never met one. Yeah, neither have I. So, 73% of the vote in. Bernie has a 2% lead. He's got over 4,000 votes over. Drop out. No, we don't know who won yet. This is just, oh man. I can't, this stupid ad. Here, let's bring up the billionaire chart. Let's look at the billionaires, everybody. Let's talk to some super chatters, folks. Sam Dean, what's up, brother? I'm glad there's been rain down under and that the fires are subsiding. So now it's your time to start working on getting Scott Morrison out of there. Which candidate do you think could communicate with foreign countries to help reestablish a sense of trust in American and repair trade arguments? Well, it would absolutely be Bernie. I mean, that's one of the things he keeps saying. And a Green New Deal, I mean, Bernie said this, part of his Green New Deal, and this is again a policy, not a platitude, is we'll cut the military spending down. And then we'll work with other countries, China, everybody, India, Russia, to fight our real common enemy, which is climate change. That's how you unify the world. That's how you unify the country in this fight. Everybody will get on board with climate change when they all got good jobs, right? And Klobuchar and Warren they'll just get in this little ping pong match with the Republicans and get these little incremental bipartisan wins. There'll be no sweeping change. They'll go, we saved Roe v. Wade. Yeah, any Democrat's going to do that. We all know that. It's just, yeah, I don't know, man. I guess. I mean, it's only the second. It's the first primary. It's only the second state. Nevada's a caucus, so we'll see how they're going to cheat that they'll cheat that for Buttigieg or Klobuchar. And then, let's hope people in South Carolina wake the fuck up and vote for Bernie, because Joe Biden is out of his mind. And these rich white ladies don't give a shit about you. And that psycho CIA asset Buttigieg doesn't give a shit about you. He hangs out with billionaires. Like, do you think, this is in Forbes, how come CBS and MSNBC aren't showing this like around the clock? Oh, because the billionaires that donated to these candidates also own their channels and buy ad time on their channels. Buying ad time isn't to promote a product. It's to, you're buying consent. That's why they're doing that. The oil lobby, the pharmaceutical companies, the healthcare companies, the war machine, they're buying consent. When Boeing and Raytheon, they're not hoping, hey, oh, honey, the new F-18s are here. I'm going to buy a new Tomahawk rocket. It's to buy influence. It's to say, don't criticize us and talk about how great war is and we need it. And bring on your experts that are just former, military officers that now work for defense contractors. Annabelle Corley, what's up, Annabelle? Hope you're well down under. Tune into the chat, then watch the French film. Looks like it's all going downhill in the meantime, at least. Audrey Trudeau, Tutu, give me hope, yeah. Bernie's still in the lead, man. He still has the lead. So that's, hopefully a couple of these big districts will come his way and they'll clear him the winner. But even if Bernie does win, they've accomplished what they wanted to do, is he doesn't overwhelmingly crush people so that some of the delegates go to Pete and Klobuchar. This stupid rigged primary. I will actively fight to crush the Democratic Party the rest of my life. Which won't be long because we're all going to die from crisis. I get the idea. Bernie's HRC's new Pied Piper. Yeah. Yeah. The guy in CBS is talking how it'll have to go to a second ballot at the convention. He's already talking about that. It's February. We're in the first primary in the second state. Pat the Batman fan, what's up, Pat? Obama says, don't hope for any more change. Yeah, it's over. There's no more change. Don't hope for it. Just sit back and drink a hot cup of centrism. Sparky, Amy, Pete, and Joe are to force second ballot at the convention. Yeah, I mean, we talked about this we started seeing this last year when they did that ridiculous, we're only going to use super delegates in the second ballot, so we know that's what they're going to do. And they're doing it. We shouldn't be surprised. 76% of the votes are in. Let's bring it back here. People who make between 50 and 100 grand, Sanders, 30%. Jim Garrison. Hello, Jim. Claire McCaskill, a Dem, voted for Kavanaugh. She hates Bernie also. Yep. $966 likes. Everybody who hasn't, hit the like button. Let's get over 1,000 likes. And this is the thing here. What this pushing into a second ballot and a brokered convention, what it does is it makes the Democratic Party look crazy, because if Bernie got the nomination, here we are. 79% voted. Bernie with 26%, 24.3. Oh, he's closing the gap. That's what they're going to try to do. She's got 19.9. These guys are over here. Tom Steyer with 4%. Dropouts Tom and endorse Bernie. Endorse Bernie, Andrew. This favors Trump. If the party was truly about beating Trump, they'd get behind Bernie and the most popular politician out there, the person who has more individual donors than anybody, who's raised more money without a penny from corporate money. No corporate donations, and he's raised more than anybody. So they would really get behind him, but they're not going to, because they'd rather lose to Trump. That's what we're seeing. Now they're talking about Michael Bloomberg. God. 1,000 likes. We did it. Thank you, everybody. Our numbers keep growing. Gabbard should be higher than Biden, that's for sure. Here we are. Yeah. Staying up and watching mainstream media is making me sick as well. I get it. Owen Johnson. Thank you, Owen. Pete's an effing racist. He covers for racists and nobody cares, apparently. I'm sickened. Yeah. If Bernie had this kind of shit, if Bernie lied about having black supporters, they would crucify him. If he lied about being Jewish, can you imagine that? Think about that. If Bernie lied, we found out he's not Jewish. He had no family in the Holocaust. He lied about that. I would leave his campaign. I don't work for his campaign, but I would stop supporting him. He's awful. And the media would crucify him for this. Crucify him. If it was like, oh, he was never arrested for civil rights. He lied. He never said that. They would crucify him. Warren gets a pass. Klobuchar gets a pass. Mayor Pete gets a pass. It's just unbelievable. So, Klobuchar, voter group, she's winning. Voters over 65. 32% of people over 65. Oh, God. California, that's a huge amount of delegates. I mean, they made sure Hillary got that last time. So it's like, they're trying everything. Bernie's going to win New Hampshire probably, but he won't get all of the delegates. 24 delegates at stake, so Bernie won't get all of them. And now they're pushing Klobuchar, Surge. Calling her the comeback kid. Unbelievable. Gil and Joy R. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Thanks for covering this live. Bernie will win if they count the votes. Yeah, I think you're right. It's just, it's like so annoying. Pete and Bernie are about to speak any minute now. Annabelle Corley. Thank you, Annabelle. Shave your knuckles for justice. Down under. Breaks my heart to see my progressive friends in America being lied to. Let the world see what happens. Your elections are a disgrace. I'm with all of you. Much love. Yeah, our elections are a disgrace. They're a complete disgrace. We're supposed to be the pinnacle of democracy, America. Look at this crap. It's such a it's embarrassing. The whole country's an embarrassment on every level. It's like, and these stupid Democratic Party, man, they're the worst. They're the worst people. Yeah, Buttigieg will declare victory. What's a wave maker? This is Kelly Slater's. It's like a. Look at this. Buttigieg is doing pretty well tonight, giving crazy Bernie a run for his money. Very interesting. He would love to run against Buttigieg or Bloomberg. He doesn't run. Well, he doesn't want to run against Bernie. He knows it. Everybody, the Democrats know Bernie can win. They don't want Bernie in power. The oligarchs do not want this to happen. Jeff Bezos doesn't want this to happen. 82%, 26% of the vote. They're going to have to declare him a winner at some point. For justice, I find it extremely suspect that early on Bernie was winning by 5 points after all the polls had closed, but somehow Pete keeps creeping up within 2 points. Orchestrating the perfect, delicate fix, of course. They got to do this surge. They're going to overtake Bernie, and then they're going to go Klobuchar, Buttigieg, 2020. Woman, first gay man, yay, neoliberal identity politics. So what if they will keep the war machine going, not give you Medicare for all? They'll propose, if either of those were to become president, let's just say, they would push for some Medicare for all, and then they blame the Republican Senate for blocking it. That's what Obama did when he had control of the House and the Senate. We could have had a real healthcare plan. He had complete control. The Democrats had complete control. And they blamed it on obstructionist Republicans when they had control. It was Democrats that sold them out. The naughty vegan, shave your knuckles for justice, Clovis surge. Yeah. This country's so dumb, she'll get eaten alive. Both of them will get eaten alive by Trump. The only way Trump wins, he's not going to pick up more voters. It's if Democrats stay home. Like Trump is maxed out. We talked to Dave Anthony about this. Maxed out his support. It's if Democrats don't just are like uninspired and independents aren't inspired. If like people, independents are like, another any blue will do. I'm just going to stay home and not vote. If independents and and progressive Democrats, that's how Trump wins. And they know that. That's why they're forcing these jackasses down our throat. Sparky. Pete is a Macron clone for globalist intel. Absolutely. Cooper, shave your knuckles for justice. Change the narrative. Ignore Bernie has popular vote and no whining about his supporters and not voting centrist. Has popular vote and no whining about his supporters not voting centrist. I don't quite understand what that means, but thanks for supporting the show, but I don't quite get what you're saying. Claudius, you're buffering like crazy, Graham, so you're out. I'm sorry. I thought I was getting good. I'm not noticing it on my end. Is anyone else noticing buffering? You know? Yeah, Warren should back Bernie. She stole his ideas, of course. Yeah. I think if Bernie survives his term, he won't have a lengthy retirement. Yeah. Yeah, Democratic Party's agenda is 8 years of Trump, and then they cry wolf. and play victim. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Trump would beat Pete for sure. Grant, thank you for all you do. It is so important that it has opened my eyes to your political system and the truth is getting out around the world. Yeah, Annabelle. Everyone's got to see how corrupt we are. There's like too many happening for me to do. I can't do 20 videos a day. Here comes the psychopath.
Preparing to address his supporters.
Look at this
in
load.
Nashua. Let's listen in.
Fake smiling like a sociopath because I don't feel emotion.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One more time for our phenomenal New Hampshire state co-chairs. Thank you for your leadership and thank you for your commitment. Thank you to our extraordinary national co-chair, Congresswoman Andy Custer, who knows how to raise the roof and how to get out the vote.
There's something off about him. There's something off about this guy. Off.
And thank you to Chasten, the love of my life, who keeps me grounded and makes me whole.
Deep State
I
Pete.
admired Senator Sanders when I was a high school student. I respect him greatly to this day, and I congratulate him on his strong showing tonight.
Congratulate him on a strong song, she just said about St. Bernie.
And I want to congratulate Senator Klobuchar, Senator Warren, Vice President Biden, and all of our Democratic candidates and supporters. And I know that we all share the spirit that we heard from some of our volunteers at a poll site earlier today who welcomed a competing candidate with chants of vote blue no matter who. We are on the same team. Now, over the past year, some 24 campaigns have crisscrossed this state, each laying claim to the ability to bring people together, turn out the vote, and move Americans toward a brighter future. That too. And here in a state that goes by the motto, live free or die, you made up your own minds. You asserted that famous independent streak. And thanks to you, a campaign that some said shouldn't be here at all has shown that we are here to stay.
We are here to stay. Yeah, the intelligence community is the permanent state. They're not voted in or out. That's the deep state. Deep State Pete. 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 Oh, fake laugh with this fake applause.
So many of you turned out. Die-hard Democrats, independents unwilling to stay on the sidelines, and even some newly former Republicans ready to vote for something new. Ready to vote for a politics defined by how many we call in
26%.
instead of by who we push out.
84% of the vote.
So many of you chose to meet a new era of challenge with a new generation of leadership.
What is your Democrats?
So many of you decided that a middle-class mayor and a veteran from the industrial Midwest was the right choice to take on this president, not in spite of that experience, but because of it.
26% of independents said they voted for Sanders.
Now our campaign moves on to Nevada, to South Carolina, to communities across our country. And and we will welcome new allies to our movement at every step. We'll go forward thanks to the work of our extraordinary team of staff and organizers and volunteers. I may be biased on this, but I'm also right. We have the finest team in politics today.
It's like whatever part of the world you're in. How about them Cowboys? Oh, I'm sorry.
Know that you don't just represent me well, you inspire me. And I cannot say enough how thankful I am to our extraordinary team. Thank you.
Creep smile.
And we know that team stretches across the country. We go forward fueled by hundreds of thousands of grassroots supporters, from the woman in Minnesota who donated in honor of the wife she lost to lung cancer, to the veteran from Connecticut who sent $19.68 in honor of the year that he served in Vietnam. This campaign belongs to them. And if our campaign moves you, I hope you'll go to PeteForAmerica.com and chip in whatever you can. And we go forward knowing that this is our chance, our only chance. Not just to end the era of Donald Trump, but to launch the era that we know must come next. And the stakes could not be higher. We cannot afford to miss the mark or to miss this moment. We must get this right. With Americans living under an unaccountable president who will cut taxes for corporations and then cut Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security for the rest, we must get this right. When people of color fear for their own place in their own country, while infants are torn from their parents at the border, we must get this right.
More platitudes from these idiots. God, have fucking thought. You stupid CIA moron.
Pardons war criminals and punishes war heroes while systematically demolishing the credibility of our country in the eyes of the world. We dare not risk 4 more years of this presidency. We must get this right.
Then step down and let Bernie win. If all of you step down, Bernie would win and we would beat Trump. Fuck, you're dumb. Man, you're dumb. Really dumb. Stupid dumb. Really dumb. Sell out dumb. Dumb.
We are clear-eyed about the challenge before us, and we must be equally clear about the choice at hand. My competitors and I share the same fundamental goals: bringing balance to our economy, guaranteeing health care to every American, combating a climate crisis and a rising tide of gun violence. But we do differ in what we believe it will take to make that happen. In this election season, we have been told by some that you must either be for revolution or you are for the status quo. But where does that leave the rest of us? Most Americans don't see where they fit in that polarized vision. And we can't defeat the most divisive president in modern American history by tearing down anybody who doesn't agree with us 100% of the time.
Shut up. Tell me when throughout history, Pete, centrism did something big. Tell me. Can you give me a history lesson? Did centrists give women the right to vote? Did centrists end Jim Crow laws? Did centrists bring us out of the Depression? Idiot. They just called it? Who just called it?
Americans want the freedom to make choices for themselves on health care or
up.
on any other issue.
Freedom to make choices on health care. Bernie's not going to... Oh, God, you're so dumb. But you know what, America? If you're this... Vote for this moron. Vote for this. Sell yourself out.
Ideological purity over an inclusive victory. We also
Shut up.
We know this. We also know better than to try to defeat such a disruptive precedent by relying on the same Washington framework and mindset.
You have the same Washington framework and mindset, Pete.
America well, a guy like Donald Trump would never have come within cheating distance of the Oval Office in the first place.
Bernie won, they called it?
So to win,
Who called it?
we need to bring new voices to our capital. We need to get Washington starting to work more like our best-run cities and towns rather than the other way around. And I know that when you talk this way, you might get dismissed as a naive newcomer. And election after election has shown us that putting forward a new perspective is how.
All right, I'm shutting this moron down, and we'll try to find some. Try to find. Estimate of the final vote. Latest results. Let's see what MSNBC says. I'm not seeing it. New Hampshire primary. Oh, projected winner is Sanders. Yeah, they're saying it here. You're right. Here is the MSNBC right there. It says projected winner Sanders with 26.1%, Buttigieg 24.3%. In the primary, Trump won. Funny. Against some guy named Weld. Okay. All right, so MSNBC is calling him. Let's hopefully he'll get out of here and we'll listen to Bernie's speech. You know, Bernie's going to be speaking over here soon as this clown stops with his fake smiley weirdness. Yeah, projected winner, 86% of the vote in, they're giving it to Sanders.
Will emerge as the winner of the New Hampshire Democratic primary. Again, CBS News is now projecting that Senator Bernie Sanders will be the winner of the New Hampshire Democratic primary. We take you back now to Pete Buttigieg.
Empowering workers and
you just
making
lost.
good on the
Shut it. All right, there it is. CNN has not called it. Okay. Here comes Bernie.
Podium as well. Again, this coming just as CBS News is projecting that Senator Sanders has won the New Hampshire primary. Let's go ahead and listen in to Senator Sanders.
New Hampshire divides delegates. Bernie gets like 9. Buttigieg gets like 8 or something like that. It's like 9, 8, and 4 or something. It's 24 delegates. And if you get less than 15% of the vote, you get no delegates. But, so Bernie, Pete, and
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
He really laughs. He's got a real laugh, like a human, not a crazy psycho laugh.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, New Hampshire. Thank you, New Hampshire. Let me take this opportunity to thank the people of New Hampshire for a great victory tonight.
Praise God in the victory, as well as should.
Let me thank the thousands of volunteers in New Hampshire. Thank you. Who knocked on doors in the rain and the snow and the cold. The reason that we won tonight in New Hampshire, we won last week in Iowa.
He said we won last week in Iowa. Oh, that's right, Bernie.
It's because of the hard work of so many volunteers. And let me say tonight that this victory here is the beginning of the end for Donald Trump.
Winner. Boom.
With victories behind us, popular vote in Iowa and the victory here tonight, we're going to Nevada, we're going to South Carolina, we're going to win those states as well. And tonight I want to take the opportunity to express my appreciation and respect for all of the Democratic candidates we ran against. Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden. And what I can tell you with absolute certainty, and I know I speak for every one of the Democratic candidates, is that no matter who wins, and we certainly hope it's going to be us, we're going to unite together. We are going to unite together and defeat the most dangerous president in the modern history of this country. And the reason I believe we are going to win is that we have an unprecedented grassroots movement from coast to coast of millions of people. The reason that we are going to win is that we are putting together an unprecedented, multi-generational, multi-racial political movement.
Multi-racial, multi-political movement. Bernie, yeah.
And this is a movement from coast to coast, which is demanding that we finally have an economy and a government that works for all of us, not wealthy campaign contributors.
Not wealthy campaign contributors. Boom.
And I want to thank all of those people who have worked and contributed to our campaign, but make the point that at this point in the campaign, we are taking on billionaires and we're taking on candidates funded by billionaires. But we are are gonna win because we have the agenda that speaks to the needs of working people throughout this country. Healthcare is a human right, not a privilege. The wealthy and powerful will start paying their fair share of taxes.
So the wealthy and powerful are going to pay their fair share of taxes. That's a policy point, not a platitude.
We will make public colleges and universities tuition-free and cancel all student debt.
Going to make public colleges and universities free and cancel student debt. That's a policy point. He's the first person I've heard say any policy tonight.
Donald Trump, we know that climate change is very real and an existential crisis for our planet. We are prepared to tell the fossil fuel industry that their short-term profits are not more important than the future of our planet.
I just talked about a Green New Deal. $1,100 likes. Thanks for the likes. Keep liking it up. We're chanting Green New Deal. It's a policy.
A racist and broken criminal justice system. We are going to pass comprehensive immigration reform.
Talking about comprehensive immigration reform. Again, he's just saying policy after policy, what his policies are.
Our gun safety policies will be determined by the American people, not the NRA.
Our gun policies will be determined by the American people,
and
not the
under
NRA.
our administration, it will be women, not the government, who control their own lives.
I just said the women will control their own lives, not the government. That's another policy.
Now, our campaign is not just about beating Trump. It is about transforming this country. It is about having the courage to take on Wall Street, the insurance companies, the drug companies, the fossil fuel industry, the military-industrial complex.
Just mentioned military-industrial complex. The fossil fuel, the big corporations, the pharmaceutical companies.
So tonight I want to thank the people of New Hampshire for this great Sanders.com. So it's on to Nevada, it's on to South Carolina, it's on to win the Democratic nomination, and together, I have no doubt that we will defeat Donald Trump.
So that's the delegates. He gets 8, Buttigieg gets 7, she gets 4. How this Bloomberg system goes. So delegate than Buttigieg right now. Boom. So that's big, everybody. Yep. He's given he gave a victory speech. That's a victory speech. He won in Iowa and he won in New Hampshire. Oh, here we go.
Favor.
Well, the big picture on it is it was really close, right? You see it's less than 2%. If you zoom in over here between Sanders and Buttigieg. But at the decision desk, we work on raw votes at this point in the night with 85% in. I'm going to switch over those numbers and let you see. This right here is about a 5,000, a little less than 5,000 vote gap. So what do? What we do is we look at whether or not Pete Buttigieg can catch Bernie Sanders. And the way it turns out is that to catch him, Buttigieg would have needed, at least as we speak, around 31.6% of the remaining vote. Now, that doesn't sound like much offhand, but if you figure that up until now, he's been getting 24% of it, that would mean he would have to outperform what he's been doing. And at a certain point, you start to add it up and say, well, he probably can't outperform himself that much. And even if it stays close, he can't quite catch Bernie Sanders.
In the end, Bernie Sanders' support very solid in New Hampshire. Can we look at why that is? What are some of the issues that New Hampshire voters care so?
All right, so 90% of the vote in, they called it for Bernie. This was fantastic. Obviously it would have been great if he would have crushed and got even more delegates, but this is a big deal. So this is why we got to push this out. Bernie is, because this is how it's a ridiculous system, but this is the system we've got. So this is how it works. Bernie winning the popular vote in Iowa, Bernie winning in New Hampshire, even though he only gets 8 delegates, this can help with fundraising. So more people start throwing money into Bernie. Maybe they were going to give it to Warren or Klobuchar or whatever. This is how it's got to be. Bernie is the guy that can tell all your friends who are voting in upcoming races, Bernie can beat Trump head to head. That is the key message. That is the key message. So yeah. So this is what, and hopefully imagine if Yang throws his support behind Bernie, then you're talking about 7,000 votes. So he could have run away with this. Bernie could have run away with this. No, we got to start dropping these people out. So Yang needs to get behind Bernie is what he needs to do. Let's see where we're at. Okay. Balthazar 228, Champion Knuckles for Justice. In before Delaney comes from nowhere to win. Awesome. Annabelle Corley, Pete, Warren, and Chloe would suck at Survivor. That's funny. Farkas Garvey, what's up, Farkas? How you been? You're right, Graham. Chris Matthews and the rest will never support Bernie, and my parents are under their hypnosis. At least they are liberal, I guess. I mean, show your parents that clip of that woman that I just showed you on Twitter who said, I watch MSNBC all the time and their smears of Bernie are why I voted for Bernie because I'm sick of it. That's your parents' demographic. Show them that. Owen Johnson, just kill me now while we won. Owen, it's all right. Harry C. Smith, he sounds like he's closing out an SNL episode. I'm assuming you're talking about Wine Cave Pete, Sparky. I'm kin to some psychos, I can tell. Pete's one. Yeah, he's nuts. Crafty Geek, how much more a month would faster internet for your place be? We're getting hella buffering, and I don't mind upping my Patreon for an internet upgrade. Crafty, I really appreciate that. I have the fastest internet you can get, and I pay like a lot of money for it. So I don't know what's happening, but this is what I'm trying to, I've got the fastest internet you can get. So I appreciate that, but there's no more money to spend on that. So I don't know what's happening. It might just be YouTube throttling me or something. It sucks, but Sparky, boom, plenty enough money behind Pete's rent-a-crowd. Of course, the fake smilers behind him. Derek Morris, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. I hope that someone recorded this Pete speech so we can replay it over and over because it was one of the creepiest things I've ever seen on film. Boy, it's so choreographed. And he has to fake like empathy and joy because he doesn't have it. He's just an opportunist. I'll do whatever it takes to be powerful. I'll do whatever it takes. That's like, Kay, what's up? Wheatgrass shot for you, Grammy. I could use one. Owen Johnson, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Didn't Centrist give us the caramel mocha latte? That's their big contribution to society. Tisha T, what's up, Tisha? It was great meeting you in Tempe. When I go on the road, I cannot say this enough, how much I love what candidate brings change? 37%. Not Buttigieg, not Warren, not Klobuchar, not Biden. Boom. That'll tell you. But anyway, Tisha, it was great to meet you. It's great meeting all of you out there on the road. So Go to grahamelwood.com for tour dates. Ron and I are in San Francisco February 29th. In March, we are in Orlando, Tampa, and Miami. Get your tickets at grahamelwood.com. In April, we are in Seattle and Portland. And in May, we are in Indianapolis, Detroit, and Cleveland. In June, we are in Louisville and Nashville. We will be adding Atlanta. In July, we are in Chicago and Milwaukee. In August, we are in Richmond, Virginia, DC, and Philly. In September, we are in New York City, Boston, Portland, Maine, and Burlington, Vermont. In October, we are in Madison and Milwaukee. So go to grahamelwood.com for the tour dates because it's great meeting you out on the road. Tisha, we met some new friends at the show in Arizona. It was comforting to meet a community. My husband caught Ron's guitar pick. The show was great. Tisha, thank you for sharing that with everyone. This is why I say come to a show. I always say if you come to a progressive comedy tour show or a Jimmy Dore show, you come alone, but you leave a part of a community. You're in a room full of progressives laughing and having a fucking great night. And you feel like, oh, I'm not alone. I'm not crazy. You watch these reels, like, who are these people voting for Klobuchar and Buttigieg? What in Biden? What are they doing? And then you see everybody in a room and like all these progressives. Everyone in the crowd has got Bernie and Tulsi shirts on. And it's just awesome, man. It's just awesome. Healthcare, the most important issue. That's Bernie. Kate, AP headline, Patrick reflects on lackluster showing. Interesting. Baker plant still shut down. Yep. Sparky, Bernie left out that he ran against Tulsi. Interesting. It's because he talked about all my people that I ran against. I have so much. I think he's gonna start talking to her or something. I don't know. I think it's gonna I don't know. I don't know who he's got to start leaning towards a VP, but maybe if Tulsi just reaches out to his campaign and says, look, if I drop out, will you pick me at VP? I don't know. It's hard to say. Sparky, don't get me wrong. Bernie's still my second choice. Yeah, man. I get that. Sam Dean, the wealthy and powerful will start paying their fair share of taxes. Now it's war. Even his own DNC will continue trying to sabotage him. Yay, Bernie. Yeah, that's his message. That's why they're so against him. Because the billionaire ruling class that controls the Democrats and the Republicans and all of these corporate parties, these are millionaires that are paid by billionaires to push a propaganda. So that's what, that's what Bernie is up against. He's up against the kleptocracy. That's what he's up against. Kilkenny B, boom. Thank you, Kilkenny. Wow. 90% of the votes in. Louise Brooks. And mainstream media supports Bloomberg in 3, 2, 1. Oh, yeah. They're going to try to get Bloomberg in there somehow. These two might be fading. So, she's surging, but they're going to try to get a Bloomberg in there, Bloomberg Pete ticket. They literally...
Nominee or not, he came to play, and he's
talking
going to
about
continue to
Bloomberg.
build that organization. So
Just
it's
like you
kind
said,
of an
Louise.
interesting thing, because if it turns out that Bernie Sanders is the nominee, he may benefit from that billionaire that is building this infrastructure.
And let's go to our Ed O'Keefe right now, CBS News political correspondent who is standing by at the Sanders campaign. So Ed, tell us what the feeling is there. It was interesting that even before Senator Sanders came out, we heard Pete Buttigieg say, essentially congratulating Senator Sanders on a, quote, strong showing.
Well, it was a strong showing. It was a win. He becomes the first non-president to win consecutive New Hampshire primaries, and he did it by driving up numbers across the state, especially in the West, where he's quite popular, and here in Manchester, especially, the state's largest city, turned out in droves for him. He was helped by volunteers who came from across the country, knocked on 150,000 doors over the weekend, about, 4 every second, or 1 every 4 seconds, either way. Good math for them, and something that no other team could match in this state this time. Voters have consistently told us they appreciate his consistency on the issue of healthcare and the message that you heard him give tonight, that he's going after billionaires and the presidential candidates funded by them. That's a several-prong attack right now against Mayor Mike Bloomberg, a billionaire who is self-funding, against Mayor Pete Buttigieg, a very, certainly not a wealthy candidate, and that he now believes could potentially pay off with further victories down the road. But in speaking with representatives from other campaigns tonight, they'll point out the fact that he failed to top 30% in a state that he won overwhelmingly 4 years ago. The Sanders campaign will turn around and say it's because it was a crowded field, voters had many options, Tulsi support. Regardless, if you were on top and so dominant in this state, they'll argue, how come you weren't able to do it? And yes, he did very well among younger voters. Turnout was higher than 4 years ago, but not as high as he would have liked, not as high as Democrats would have liked in general. The suggestion that perhaps he, as the socialist, self-described Democratic socialist in the race, maybe isn't drawing the crowd that Democrats will need, not only in this tiny state, but across the country. But he will go west later this week. He'll head south as well to North Carolina.
CBS is already saying, oh, he didn't win big enough, like, oh, it wasn't 30%, didn't win big enough. But he's the only non-president to ever win New Hampshire 2 primaries in a row. So if he wins Nevada and South Carolina, that's what we got to get it. That's how we got to get it happen. So people in Nevada and people in South Carolina, get out there big. Get out there big. Now they're saying, is Bernie vulnerable in his position of healthcare? I can't watch this bullshit anymore. Sam Dean, boom. Marlon Shatner's not going to take it anymore. I've been talking for 3.5 hours, dude. I cannot sing. Thank you, though. Annabelle Corley, I will have a celebratory Tim Tam for you. Oh, nice. Tim Tam. I love me some Tim Tams. Louise Brooks, oh my God, I'm psychic. So sad. Oh, God, Louise, you called it. Thank you all so much for doing this. So just to let you know, as I look at the calendar here, there will be Democratic debates next Wednesday. So I'll go live Sunday at 3 p.m., as I always do, 3 p.m. Pacific. And Wednesday the 19th will be Democratic debates. And we will go live. I'll be in the studio for that. So hopefully have Ron or Fiorello, whoever's going to be with me for that one, which will be cool. And then the Iowa caucuses are the 22nd, but I won't really be able to go live. I don't think, maybe, but I will be in Sacramento doing the Jimmy Dore show. So maybe I can at night, because I think that show's during the day, but I can't guarantee that. But so our next live show will be Sunday the 16th at 3 p.m. Pacific, and then Wednesday the 19th at probably around 5 p.m. Whenever that debate ends. So that's what we're doing. You guys, George Allen, thank you so much. The phone lines of the elite must be buzzing now. They're going to pull out all the stops. Oh yeah, get ready. Some crazy shit's going to happen in Nevada. It's caucus land where you can really cheat. Don Wolf Pro, boom. This just in from MSNBC. Moments before Bernie Sanders was to announce his victory in New Hampshire, a Russian asset going by the name alias Granny Petrol has doused the voting machines with coal, slag, and cheese. DNC is demanding a recount. But Greta, unless your ballot was struck with coal and you soaked it in oil, it's not a real ballot, Greta. Don't you know Bernie Sanders? The reason he's looked so old, he's 23 years old. He's been so angry fighting the good beauty of oil. That's why he looks that way, Greta. Listen to me, Greta. Put oil across your face. It makes you pretty. Oil is good for everyone, Greta. Oh, thank you, Don Wolf, for some Granny Petrol. Okay, guys, 9 down, 261 votes to go. 270 equals 46. You got it. You're the best. Thank you guys so much. We had over 1,100 likes. That's the most likes we've ever had on a live stream, which is fantastic. So I'll be dropping videos all week, of course, and I will go live Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific, and then next Wednesday, February 19th, after the next Democratic debate, which will be ahead of the Nevada caucus. So thank you so much for supporting the show. I appreciate it, and get out there and fight. And everybody that's canvassed in New Hampshire, everybody that canvassed in Iowa, and all that phone banking from wherever, you're helping Bernie, you're helping this happen. So, and talk to the Yang people. Let's get Yang on board. So thank you so much for watching the show. Shave your knuckles for justice. You're all making Gotham great.